You are now listening to Ice Line Beats. You are now listening to Ice Line Beats.
Man, let's get this show on the road, man. What's goody, fight fans? What's going on out there, man? It is the homie, Mainman, Mademan in the building. Oh, yeah. And y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Yes, sir. Once again, it's on, fight fans. Once again, a honor and a pleasure. I repeat, a honor and a pleasure. Rocking out with the boxing fans and the boxing fam. Yes, sir. Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. Sunday, man. You know what that means. Our time now, man. What up, fight fans? I want to give a major salute to everyone that catches this live. A major salute to everyone that catches this on the playback. Thumbs up as you pull up. You already know. Thumbs up as you pull up. You already know. Family, what's goody with y'all, man? What's going on out there, fight fans? Man, it's been all week, man. I've been needing to get up on here and chop it up with the whole entire fam, man. It's been all week, fight fans. Y'all must forgive me, man. The homie's been a little bit off the scene, celebrating my birthday, fight fans. You know, for those who don't know, the homie birthday, May 11th, every single year, you know what I mean? And so this year, I decided to take some time off, spend some cool time with some family and loved ones, you know what I mean? Celebrate my birthday. I've just been on a cool ass, just birthday vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like the last 3 or 4 days, man. So y'all gotta forgive me for probably not coming on live all week and not being able to stop on through. But I say, yo, I was not gonna miss Sunday. I wasn't able to do an immediate reaction to last night's Romero fight. Good thing I didn't, because I'm gonna have a hell of a lot to say about that today, fight fans. You know what I mean? Oh, trash ass fight that was, wasn't it? Oh, trash ass fight that was, man. What the hell was that, fight fans? But we gonna definitely get there, man. I got my fam on deck, man. What up, my G, Muhammad Tola, first man in our house. What's up, champ? And I hope all is well with my main man, Muhammad Tola. What's up, cool? Chillin', man. Muhammad Ali, what up, though? Chillin', man. What's up with you, champion? Much love to my G, Muhammad Ali, coming on through, rocking out today, man. Yes, sir, man. Muhammad Tola says, I lost something. I wonder if Tony Weeks took it. More than likely, hey, somebody better pat Tony Weeks' pockets, man. Somebody better pat his pockets, fight fans. I mean, damn, Tony Weeks. I mean, how do you get it that damn wrong, bruh? And you supposed to have some experience, right? Tony Weeks has been around for 150,000 years, fight fans. This ain't no new dude. This ain't nobody that just flew on the scene. No, Tony Weeks is supposed to be one of the cream of the crop. How did he get it so wrong? Hey, man, I'm thinking that him and Kenny Bayless, man, they might be getting a little too up there in age, bro. Like they was the two, they was like the lead two, right? Kenny Bayless and Tony Weeks. They was like the head cats to do all of the fights. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ever since like Mills Lane and the old school guys like Mills Lane and Richard Steele left, It was always about Kenny Bayless and Tony Weeks, and they getting it wrong left and right, champs. Left and right, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, somebody, man, we might gotta go get Richard Steele in them again, man. Salute to my homie, Mr. All Hell Breaks Loose, man. Chilling, man. What up, though, family? What's up with you, man? Muhammad Tola says, yo, happy birthday, brother. I too was born May the 2nd. Great minds, bruh. Great minds. That's why we think alike right there. It's Taurus season around this junk. You know what I'm talking about? Taurus season around here, man. And let me tell y'all, fam. Oh, speaking of Mills Lane, hey, there you go, right there, Mills Lane. What's up, Mills? Hey, salute to my homie Mills Lane. Hey, Mills Lane, we need you back, bro. We need you back, man, because we don't know what the hell Tony Weeks got going on, Mills Lane. We need you back, bro. For real, man. Salute to the fam, man. Salute to the fam, man. Hey, Mills Lane say May 10th. Oh, hey, Slim, it's Taurus season for real. Hey, yeah, that's what it is. I hope you turned up, bro. I hope you had a good ass time doing it, man. Hey, salute to the homie Mills Lane. Happy belated birthday, man. Happy belated birthday to all my Tauruses out there, man. Yeah, man, y'all already know how we move, man. We move like a unit, you know what I'm saying? Let me tell y'all, though, fight fans, man, I ain't gonna get much into it, man, but just know that this birthday right here that just passed for me, man, was perhaps the most fulfilling birthday that I have ever had, man, because I made this a birthday all about experiences. Like, I wasn't tripping off gifts, like somebody come and bring me a bunch of gifts and shit. Nah, this birthday, my theme was going to be experiences. And bruh, I gave myself the ultimate experience, the most fulfilling, thrilling experience, man, that you would ever have, man. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say too much because I'm still kind of in a process period with it, man. But let's just say, man, I took a trip somewhere. You feel me? I took a trip somewhere and I learned a lot while I was on that particular trip. And I've never been to this place before, so this was the first time I've ever been there. I've been wanting to go to this place for a number of years, fight fans. And when I went, man, let's just say it was more than I can ever hope. And it perhaps has even changed me perhaps for the rest of my life. Real spill. That's how fulfilling this particular trip was. We'll talk more about it in the future. Wait till I get out of my processing period, man. But let's get back to the fight game, man. And that's something to everybody, dog. Like, sometimes for your birthday, it ain't always got to be a physical gift. Like, somebody got to go to the Walmart or go to the Target or something and buy your ass something. How about somebody take you somewhere and show you something for a change? That's just a bigger gift than anything, because it's an experience, and experiences are everything, fight fans. Real spill. So let's push on, man. So boxing last night, man. Look, man, what before we get to the Rolly debacle, first and foremost, let me just say this, man. Did y'all catch that Janabek? I don't think many people watched the Janabek fight last night, right? Janabek fought some dude by the name of Stephen Butler. Never heard of this dude, Stephen Butler. What, he stopped him in like 2 rounds or something like that, dropped him like 3 times. And so we got Janabek out here talking his talk as always, that he wants to get out here and he want to fight Charlo. He wants to fight Canelo. He wants to fight everybody under the sun, but nobody gonna fight him. We know that Janabek holds the WBO at 160 pounds, but ain't nobody even tripping off that belt like that. We're in the era of belts don't matter. Remember, fight fans? And clearly Janabek belt doesn't matter. And the funny thing about this is that I just recently checked the boxing rankings, and the number 1 dude under Janabek is Jaime Munguia, right? Jaime Munguia instead is going to be facing Sergey Deryevchenko, right, in his next fight. He ain't even thinking about Janabek. You know what I'm saying? Charlo ain't thinking about Janabek. They talking about when Charlo come back, they talking about Carlos Adames, right? Charlo ain't thinking about Janabek. Triple G ain't thinking about Janabek. That's the fight that makes the most sense. Where's the Triple G pressure? Everybody want to run around. This dude is a boogeyman. Everyone's so afraid of him. Oh, Andre's afraid of him. But, you know, and I get it because, you know, everybody moving out the way and stuff like that. But don't get it twisted, fight fans. The question that you got to ask is people moving out of the way because he's such a feared fighter? Or are people moving out of the way because this dude, no one don't know him? No one don't know him. I mean, they like to run around and keep calling him a boogeyman, and they gonna, you know, take him down hype train road to make him knock out every bum that they can find, right? But nobody don't know him. That's not no one that is afraid of him. It's more so just, look, bro, who is this dude? Ain't nobody showing up for his fights. No one's talking about it. No one even knew he fought last night, and he's a world champion. This dude can forget about fighting any PBC fighter. Hell, you got Danny Garcia, you got Arislandi Laura, who has a 160 WBA title, right? Instead of fighting this dude or any other fighter at 160, he moving back down and wait to go to a catch weight to fight Danny Garcia at 155. So it's like, bro, you ain't got no choice. You got to do something for you, Janet Beck. Instead of just sitting there just talking, like, what are you going to do about it? He going to have to overpay somebody. It's as simple as that. Jaime Munguia is going down the WBC route because he want the Charlo fight, allegedly. So that ain't going to happen. Janet Beck will either have to drop that belt, move up to get a decent name, or better yet, he's going to have to overpay somebody. It's the only way. And his best bet, if he's smart, you may have to call up Gennady Golovkin and say, Gennady Golovkin, we got, an exorbitant amount of money. That's probably his best bet, to be honest with you. That's the dude from his country. Y'all know that Gennady Golovkin, that the only reason he hanging around boxing is for a paycheck. He ain't hanging around for nothing else. He hasn't announced his retirement. He's doing that same thing that Amir Khan did before he retired. And that was, let me hang around, not really retire, keep one foot in boxing, one foot out of boxing, and just see what kind of checks are going to come my way. That's what Gennady Golovkin is doing. So if you know that's what he's doing, maybe that's what Janet Beck should do. Maybe Janet Beck should stop playing, just play the game and say, you know what? Screw it, dog. Like, just give him what he wants because he needs the name. Because ain't nobody else going to fight you. But that ain't going to stop ESPN from running around down the track of, this is the biggest boogeyman in boxing. And everybody's so afraid of him. Oh, and he's such a knockout out. How many fights he got? He only got a handful of fights. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hold on, I got it right here. Where's he at? Where's Janet Beck at? Janet Beck has 14 fights, fight fan. He's 14-0 with 9 knockouts. But they're making it like this dude is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he's the biggest boogeyman in boxing. With 14 wins, for real? And nobody on your resume to even talk about? Nobody. You got to overpay somebody, champ. It's the only way you're going to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? So he knocked this dude, Stephen Butler, out, man. It is what it is. They're going to keep on hyping this dude until somebody get in the ring with this dude. And I always said this before. I said, look, a lot of these fighters do make him look like a boogeyman that he probably really ain't for real. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't fight him. But that's just hype. You know what I'm saying? That's just hype. Michael Diaz says, yo, man, Earl is about to get played and toyed with July 15th, 2023. Hey, look here, bro. Hey, Earl has been getting played and toyed with for years. Like, he just waking up to that notion today. We gonna go there. You know we gonna go there. Y'all ain't heard Mainman version yet. I hear these Spence Nation. Oh, it's all he's talking about Terrence Crawford. We're gonna burst that bubble. Easy work, fight fans. Because we're going to string together how PBC not only is playing them now, but they've been playing them. Riddle me this, and we'll get there, but riddle me this. Who was the one keeping Errol Spence away from Keith Thurman all of these years? Was it Terrence Crawford? When Earl wanted to fight Keith back in the day, who didn't make it happen? Who was responsible for making it happen? And they kept Keith away. But now when Earl is champion and Keith ain't champion, they can pull political maneuvers on Earl to force the fight. Why didn't they do that when Keith was champion? Who's been fooling who for how many years? He's being played by who? Terrence Crawford wasn't around, fight fans. Y'all haven't heard Mainman version. I'm just saying, fight fans. See, we can go. We're going to go there. See, that I hear everybody say Terrence Crawford. It's funny how every time Keith Thurman comes out and then Earl comes out with a cryptic tweet. Ain't that right, fight fans? But it's Terrence Crawford's fault. Last time we heard Earl go here, we heard him say, take the L out of lover. I guess he was talking to Terrence Crawford then too, right? I guess he was talking to Crawford then too. When he said, take the L out of lover. Right around the same time when Keith Thurman was out again. That's funny. All of this is just coincidental, fight fans. Y'all haven't heard Mainman version yet. All of this is just pure coincidental. Oh, no, he's not. Yeah, it's Terrence Crawford that he's talking about, Mainman. It's Terrence Crawford. Oh, I'm going to bust that bubble, fight fans. Easy work. But we got to talk about this Rolly fight. I'll go back there in a second, all right? Let's get to this Rolly thing real quick. Muhammad Ali says that uppercut by him was sweet and got the job done. Yeah, it was. He put that boy down a few times during that fight too, bro. It really, really was. Rolly is more marketable than dude. Now they can stage Ryan versus Rolly. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, bro. You gotta brace me before you say that shit, bro. That shit make me vomit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're gonna get Ryan versus Rolly for the oldest belt in boxing. Okay. I thought I was tripping. I thought I heard you say Ryan versus Rolly for the WBA, the oldest belt in boxing. That's just a disgrace. I watched that Janet Beck fight. Looked impressive, but that was against a guy that's been stopped 3 times. Top Rank is trying to set him up as the new boogeyman. Big facts. Big facts, fight fans. That dude was, I don't even know who he was. He's not even ranked. Like, I looked through the rankings and then didn't see him. Maybe I overlooked him, but I got the rankings right in front of me. I don't see the dude's name. Who the hell was this dude and where did they find him? It's a shame. But it ain't like Janet Beck ain't trying. It ain't like he ain't trying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did struggle in that Bentley fight. And see, look, that was just a half of a step up. That wasn't even a full step up. It gets much better than Bentley. Trust me, much better than Bentley. Mills Lane says Spence got played by Heyman all day. All day. All day. All day. So let's go here, fight fans. Let's go here real quick. Allow me to pull up my artwork on this right here. I want to stop here first before we go. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one, fight fans. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. We're going to go there, though. That's the wrong one. I got to go here first, though. I got to go here. All right. Let's talk about this fight. Let's talk about this robbery without a mask, fight fans. And starring Tony Weeks. Tony 2 weeks, like 14 days. Starring Tony Weeks, fight fans. First off, if anybody that's a Rolly fan out there, because I'm sure I'll get 1 or 2 of y'all. Hey, man, Rolly is the man, man. What are you talking about? All right, Rolly earned his spot. He fought his ass off. He's a knockout artist. I'm going to get 1 of y'all through here to say something retarded like that. You know what I mean? So if you look at the response from the boxing world, and I got a few responses here, and this is just a simple flip through my social feed and some of the things that I just kind of found. And looking at some of the responses that's coming out, fight fans. Check this out. We got Steven Espinoza, right? We know that this fight went down on Showtime. Steven Espinoza says bad stoppage. Bad stoppage, fight fans. We got Ryan Garcia, the supposedly the dude that Rolly Romero wants to fight in his next fight. Look at Ryan's reaction. Wow, that was dirty. Way too early. Even Ryan knows that. Even young Ryan knows that, fight fans. Let's keep it pushing. Look at Kevin Cunningham, boxing trainer, fight fans. Rolly was losing the fight. He pushed Barroso down and Weeks calls it a knockdown. Barroso scored the more significant punches in the last exchange. Weeks jumps in and stops the fight. I've been involved in this sport for over 30 years, and this was downright criminal. And this is coming from a boxer trainer. We know he's currently training Adrian Bronner. Fight fans, the boxing world reacted to this like, what was this? This ain't even counting fans. The multitude of fans on Twitter that is just straight up dissing this shitty ass fight. Let's call it for what it is. I'm not gonna hold back. It was a shit fight. It was a shit show. Everything about it. Lou DiBella, he said shit. Fugazi title in the first place. Crap performance by the guy that set up to win. Crap. Inexplicable stoppage to guarantee the win. Hashtag boxing. No champ in that ring. That's Lou DiBella, fight fans. The boxing world did not respond positive to this at all, because this was a disgrace to the sport that we all love. Let's keep it pushing. According to Dan Raphael, boxing reporter, how could Tony Weeks be the ref that allowed Corrales to get off the deck twice versus Castillo in an all-time great performance by a referee, but then make this utterly putrid stoppage? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Great question, Dan. Great question, bruh. We all got the same question. How Tony Weeks, this is what I was saying at the top of the program. Tony Weeks has been around, fight fans. This dude has been banned since the days of Castillo, and we can go back before that. This is supposed to be one of the most prominent referees. Is he getting old? Or should somebody pet Tony Weeks' pockets? I just asked a question. I ain't accusing him of nothing. I'm just asking, should somebody pet his pockets? I'm just asking a question. I'm getting real reminiscent vibes of the Jackson Marinez fight that Rolly Romero had a few fights back. I'm getting similar vibes from that fight. Remember when we seen Rolly Romero lose that fight? Very, very similar vibes. And everybody was surprised in the end, like, what in the world? Very, very funny. Let's keep it pushing. Clarissa the Quote Shields. She says, yo, boxing took an L tonight. That was pathetic. And Barroso ain't 40. I don't care what y'all say. Good night. Y'all done ruined the Quote's weekend. See what y'all done did to the Quote? You ruined the Quote's weekend with this crap fight. With everything about this fight being crap. No one could be able to look at this. This was... And look, this is not even the part that I even find crappy about it. Y'all know leading up into this fight, I thought everything about it was crap. What they did to Gary Antoine Russell was crap. And, you know, wait till y'all hear Mainman version. This ain't even, wait till you hear Mainman version. And according to Dan Rayfield, he goes on and says, on replays, that is literally one of the worst stoppages I have seen in 45 years of watching #boxing. No reason for Weeks to stop that at all. At all. Garbage stoppage, awful ending to a crap fight. Romero Barroso. Wow. My man said he been covering the sport. He been watching the sport for 45 years, fight fans, and he's never seen nothing like this. That's a bold statement right there. That's a bold statement. Everything about this fight was crap, fight fans. Everything about this fight is what's wrong with. Listen, Rolly didn't deserve the fight. He shouldn't have been in that ring. This is boxing at its worst. What this means for boxing going forward is crap. This sends the message that, remember the oldest saying in not only just boxing, just in general, hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. So imagine some guy who just fought his way through the rankings for all of these last couple years, been fighting his ass off, whoever they put in front of him. Winning, finally get to a top 5 slot, or maybe a top 5 or top 10, top 6, top 7 slot, only to not be given the opportunity to see some kid coming off of a loss from a lower weight class come up and take your opportunity. Imagine that, fight fans. That's the principle that was set with this fight. That's why I was so anti against this fight from the jump. It was taking opportunities. Rolly didn't deserve this fight. Now, what makes this thing even so worse and most stanky and janky, fight fans, look, you see, what people forgetting about this, it was going to get left out through the sands of time, is the fact that when Rolly first initially got this fight, it was supposed to be for the WBA regular belt. We forget this little thing right here. This is what makes it even more stanky. It was supposed to, Puello had the WBA Reggie belt, fight fans. When Puello tested positive for whatever he tested positive for, whatever, and he got stripped of his belt, how did it turn from fighting for the Reggie belt to automatically turning into fighting for the super belt, fight fans? Riddle me that. How did that happen? Oh, well, man, you know, the WBA is consolidating their belts. This on again, off again stuff. Like, how did that happen? How does he get the super belt? So now he got the super belt for fighting a 40-year-old. And they say, yo, that dude wasn't even 40, man. My man looked like he was about 65. He about 65, man. He was in that thing off placebos, bro. He found the way to the ring, man. He was on a sugar high, man. He was on a sugar high. That's how he got through the fight. My man did look like he was falling apart in that weigh-in, bro. I was like, damn, bro. My man look like he ain't gonna make it, bro. He ain't 40, man. Y'all need to stop playing with us, bro. He ain't 40. Whatever his real age is, bro. He way older. He way older than 40, man. He way older. But how did this come to this, fight fans? How did we get to going from a WBA Reggie belt to a WBA super belt? And it just makes it so bad because this was Gervonta Davis's previous belt before he left the class. Well, he had the WBA regular belt, remember? So this dude get knocked out by Gervonta Davis and gets to make a run for Gervonta Davis's belt. I was already disgusted with that notion alone. And then add the fact of the 40-year-old. Then add the fact of it turning into the super belt. And then on top of all of that, we get the fight that we got from this, fight fans. We get the fight. What was that? What was that? Salute to my homie D-Lo 44 boxing up in our house. What's up, champion? He said, yo, WBA weak asses need to step in and do something, but those clowns never done right by Michael Fox. So, and that's big facts. Big facts, family. Big facts. It ain't gonna happen. Money had already probably been exchanged, bro. The brown paper bags is already moved. Rolly should have never even been in this conversation from the jump. This should have been Gary Antoine Russell's. That opportunity I'm talking about, fight fans, about somebody having an opportunity taken and fighting their way through the ranks and all of this. I'm talking about Gary Antoine Russell, the guy, the young fighter that has perhaps the two best fights in his last two fights, damn near perhaps over the division with Francis Bartholomew and Victor Postal. You telling me that wasn't deserving of a title shot over Rolly Cheerio and shit? Huh? Over Rolly Cheerio, fight fans? For real? My man got in that thing last night and looked terrible, man. It was pathetic and sad. That wasn't boxing last night. That was some dude learning on the job, bro. And he knows what it is. The crazy thing is that when you listen to Rolly talk, Rolly knows deep down inside exactly what's going on. What did he say leading into this fight? Well, I get special privileges. And he knows about this popularity game. That's why he's like, look, I'm with the popularity game. Everything he doing now is he's going down spectacle road. The only difference is, bro, you ain't Gervonta Tank Davis. You ain't no damn spectacle. See, Gervonta Davis is a true spectacle. So when we say, yo, Gervonta ain't tripping off the belts because, yo, man, he's a spectacle, man. He is the belt. I've already explained this. He brings in popularity. His numbers are sure thing. He ain't pump faking. He opening up markets. He's a certified platinum star. You, Rolly, are a Cheerio. Okay? You are a Cheerio. Nothing more, nothing less. We seen you lose to Jackson Martinez. Easy work. And now instead of even with this crap, you win the title last night, you calling out Ryan Garcia for real? Forget Teo, forget Josh, forget Gary Antoine. PBC, what y'all doing to Gary Antoine? Why isn't he getting the Rolly fight? Why wasn't he on the undercard? You put Francis Bartholomew on the undercard, the guy that Gary Antoine Russell beats, but you don't put. You put Francis Bartholomew on the undercard, fight fans. The guy that Gary Antoine Russell beat, but you don't put Gary on there. Huh? Where's this making sense at to y'all, fight fans? But this dude gonna go fight Ryan Garcia next. Ryan Garcia. You ain't no spectacle, cuz. Oh, well, Ryan did good numbers with Tank. They did all of these numbers, so they thinking what Rolly gonna do? Bro, no one, Rolly, bro, you known to be a clown, not a spectacle. There's a difference. See, we got spectacles, real life stars. Gervonta Davis, Canelo Alvarez, Anthony Joshua. They packing arenas and putting all these people in the house. You, Rolly, ain't done that. You are a character. There's a difference between characters and spectacles. Spectacles actually got a track record and put that work in. You are a character. You're the dude on TV that's yelling and screaming that everyone laughs at. There's a difference. And no one takes a character serious but PBC. They're the only ones that take them serious. So the fight was trash, fight fans. The fight was trash. KP from KC5, salute to you, homie. Salute to you. Boxing is a pure shit show now. May as well turn on wrestling. Bruh, I can't even argue with that, bro. I can't even argue with that, man. I can't even argue with that. Yeah, and I do not want to hear that Weeks just had a bad night. It's time for Weeks to hang him up. I think he should be accountable for that shit, man. He should be accountable for that. He should hang him up. I'm sorry. Somebody, the commission need to get involved and say, you know, Weeks, you had a beautiful career. You're going to the Hall of Fame. I'm sure Tony Weeks will be going to the Boxing Hall of Fame, but it's about time, bro. Your eyes are slipping on you, man. Or either you taking too many brown paper bags. One of the worst robberies that I've ever seen, says Troy. Disgusting. Straight up disgusting. Bandelli, what up, fam? Well, we know Weeks has been brought. Yeah, I just hope he got the receipt, bro. I just hope he got the receipt. Damon Webster says, salute from B-More, man. This is another black eye on the sport. Big facts. Big facts, fam. Big facts. Man. Oh, Puello. Oh, Dilo says Puello was super champ. When did he become super champ then? When did he become super champ? Did they just give it to Puello right before the PED scandal, right? Because when he beat Akhmadov, he just got the WBA regular. So when did they give him the super champ? What did they do it right before the Rolly fight? Man, something don't smell right there, D-Lo. Something don't smell right. Boxing is corrupt because, but PBC know how to take it up a notch. Yeah. All I know is I look at what's going on with Rolly. I look at what's going on with the Laura and Danny Garcia situation. I look at the Errol Spence situation and say, you know, the WBC jumping the line and all of these mandatories and all of so on and so forth. And I'm saying, what the hell is going on in boxing? What the hell is going on in boxing? Next thing you know, it's going to be new belts. I'm telling y'all, that's next. New belts is next, man. But when we go to this fight, now let's go back to the fight last night. Now, Rolly, the way he fought during this fight, first off, he came out surprising, I'm sure, a lot of us last night. Let me put the punch stats right here up on the well, you know what? Before we do the punch stats, let me just say this. Now, I know y'all saw the judges' scorecards. It's already being reported, and I just did the math myself. Every single judge had Barroso up at the time of the stoppage. Every single one of them had Barroso up at the time of the stoppage. First card had it 75-76 in favor of Barroso, 74-77 on card in the middle, and then on the last one, 73-78. So those last two cards, man, he was up by a significant margin. He was up by not a light margin. He was up by a significant margin on those last two. So that's a shame, dog, to be up like that. And you got what? 1, 2, you got 3 rounds to go. He grabbed one of those 3 rounds. It's a shoe-in for him, at least on these 2 cards. The other one had it kind of close. They only had him up 1 round. But those other 2, he grabs 1 round, fight fans, perhaps in these over the course of these next 3 rounds. And there was nothing that Rolly could have done. Rolly was on his way to lose on these cards. Now, the crazy thing about it, the first time that Rolly got hooked up, he got hooked up by the judges. Remember in the Jackson Martinez fight, he got hooked up by the judges in that fight. The second time he got hooked up, now it seemed like it's being hooked up by the referee. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. So the way that this fight played out last night, I was a little shocked. I honestly was a little shocked because Rolly came out trying to box last night, fight fans. He came out trying to box last night. He came out running, and I was like, huh? You know, Romero, Mr. Bang, 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 gang, gang, all that noise he be making when he punch. Mr. I got so much power. Well, he came out as a twinkle toes, and he looked terrible doing it, fight fans. Legs were this wide. Legs were this wide. He's sitting there trying to scoot around, legs this damn wide the whole time. Jab was short as a midget on his knees. Jab was shorter than a midget on his knees. Wasn't finding home at all. He's steadily scooting back, doing all of this moving, wasn't standing on nothing. And clearly the reason why we know he's doing this now, because listening to Rolly in this post-fight, he believed that Barroso can punch. And he did not want to chop. He did not want to mix it up with this dude, Barroso. He must have did some homework. And he found out, nah, they calling him old. They saying he 40, 50, 60, maybe 70. But this guy can punch. And so Rolly came out early, not wanting to really engage with this dude, Barroso. Barroso stayed patient, working behind a left hand. He wasn't throwing much in the jab department either, which I thought was a bit strange. And looking at the punch stats in those first couple rounds, if you go to that first column up top, as you can see, you know, with the jabs, Barroso landed 3 and Rolly Romero landed 1, because most of them shits was falling short. They were falling short heavy in those first couple rounds. But I didn't even see Barroso honestly throw 22 jabs in that first round. I thought he was more so coming off with lead-off shots than jabs. But either way it goes, most of that shit, nothing was landing in those first couple rounds until we got down to that third round where Rolly is doing the worst boxing impression that I've seen. Footwork is terrible. Stance is terrible. No balance. He claims that the knockdown that happened in the third round happened because he didn't have no balance. And that can be honestly to a certain degree true, because his footwork and his stance was horrible, fight fans. Where it probably wasn't that hard to knock him off his feet. Footwork was terrible, right? Third round comes around. Barroso finally closes that gap. Lead left hand, Payal, push down Rolly Romero. Caught him up against the ropes, put him down, right? It seemed more of a flashy knockdown. Didn't seem like nothing that was going to maybe take, Rolly Romero out of the fight completely. but it did seem much more of a flash or a buzz knockdown, but a surefire knockdown indeed, and it came from an actual punch. And then at that point, all I kept seeing was Rolly Romero run Rudolph, move around the ring, act like he was boxing, nothing landing. Barroso coming forward calmly, trying to close the gap as much as his 40-year-old legs was going to allow him to do. Trying his best to close the gap, to ease on Rolly Romero. And every time they would have them exchanges, I thought that Barroso was winning the most of them. Majority of them. While I'm looking at Rolly Romero move around, act like he boxing. You ain't winning nothing, bro, because you ain't landing nothing. You think you winning these rounds? Bro, you ain't landing anything. Let's look at these punch stats real quick. How are you winning rounds, brother, and you ain't landing shit? Look at total punches landed at that top, on that top column. You landing 4 punches in round 3, 6 punches in round 4. That ain't much off from Barroso, don't get me wrong. But you making it like you dusting Barroso. Oh, I'm taking these rounds. He might be outworking me, but I'm landing the better shots. I would disagree with that. You got outlanded in the power shot department virtually every round. Matter of fact, every round. Bottom column, fight fans, power punches. In the power punches department, Barroso outlanded you in every single round. You outlanded him in jabs. Not by much, not by overwhelming margin. Shit, man. Matter of fact, in the first, second, third, fourth, so through the first 5 rounds, Rolly Romero literally landed 3 jabs, fight fans. The first 5 rounds, Rolly Romero landed 3 jabs. But look how many of them bad boys he was throwing. Barroso wasn't no better. Look at Barroso. His wasn't no better. But according to Rolly Romero, he felt like he was landing a more cleaner, decisive punching. If we went by the power punch stats, the more harder shots, or should I say anything other than a jab, was being landed mostly by Barroso. But according to your man Rolly Romero, it was him. Matter of fact, we got some quotes from Rolly. Let's listen to this and let's look at this while we're watching the stats. You know what I'm saying? He says, like I said, hold on. He says, I was winning the fight, but my output wasn't that high. He goes on and says that, like I said, I was landing the better and cleaner shots, but he did throw more than me. So let's take a look at that. So when we look at total punches, let me get this out the way. Hold on. Let me get this out the way. When we look at total punches right there at the bottom. So he says that he outthrew him. He did outthrow him. He outthrew him by, it looks like 67 punches, 230 to 297. He says he was landing the more cleaner, decisive shots. He landed 47 punches. He was outlanded by Barroso by 10 punches. So they roughly landed in roughly about the same percentage. Now, the only difference is, if you go down to that very last column, is Barroso is dusting them in the power punches department. Dusting them, fight fans. He left Rolly at 39, where Barroso kept going all the way to 54, with 29 of them bad boys coming to the body, with only 6 for Rolly Romero. So I don't know what the hell Rolly was talking about. Oh, he was landing a more cleaner, decisive punch. Looked like the power punches went down to Barroso and went by a significant margin. Fight fans. So nah. So looking at these punch stats, just going by that top row, let me just see something here. Because it looked like the judges, all 3 judges, from what I recall, gave the last 3 rounds for the most part to Rolly Romero, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Yeah, they gave him for the most part, they gave him to Rolly Romero. As you can see right here, yeah. 2 of the 3 judges gave all 3 rounds to Rolly Romero in those last 3 rounds. I don't know if I saw that. Especially left roughly about round 7, I want to say. I don't know if I saw that. I think my eyes were more attuned to what was going on in that third card. It looked to me like around 7, 8, and 9, if I was going to give Rolly anything around that time, it was probably like 1 round. Maybe like 1 round. And Rolly was coming on at that time because after round 3's knockdown, he did kick it up into another gear. He wasn't as standoffish. He still was doing the twinkle toes thing, but he started to come forward more. Just was terribly inaccurate. He started to pick it up. He started to pick up the pace. his inaccuracies, he still was falling short, still wasn't really landing nothing of major caliber, fight fans. And then we mosey all the way down to the 9th round. And let's go, man. That first knockdown was trash, fight fans. The first knockdown was a joke. That wasn't even I don't even want to even grace the words and say knockdown. That wasn't no damn knockdown. That was a push down. How you gonna push the man head down like that? And the referee, Tony Weeks, legendary ass, don't say nothing. The legendary ref doesn't say anything, fight fans. The man you can see it clear as day that he pushed the man head down. That was disgraceful, dog. And they counted it as a knockdown for real? Anybody else would have got DQ'd. Or that wouldn't have been counted as a knockdown or something. But you pushed the man head down. He caught him with a good shot, though. I think it was a right hand. He pinned him with that right hand. But the shot that followed behind it, no. I think it was a hook he tried to throw. No. He pushed his head down. And we all saw that. And that was a disgrace. But this dude is the WBA super champ. I wonder who's going to talk about an investigation. Anybody going to talk about the words investigation? I probably not, because we got the WBA and PBC, right? Something should be investigated. He pushed that man's head down. They counted as a knockdown, right? He gets back to his feet. Rolly Romero's pressing again. Another back and forth exchange ensues, where it looks to me that Barroso got the better punches during that exchange. And Tony Weeks steps in and rules it a TKO in favor of Rolly Romero, while the man is literally punching back, fight fans. What is that? I feel sorry for the boy Barroso, man. I feel so sorry for Barroso. According to Ishmael Barroso, and we got some quotes from him, man, I feel so bad for him, bro, for real. That was messed up, man. That was real messed up. Hold on. He goes on and says, hold on. He goes on and says this. This is from Barroso. I am fine. I think it was an injustice to stop the fight. I was landing the better shots. I agree. Not only were you up on the card, so you should have got a benefit of the doubt from that. Not only were you up on the cards, not only did you also have a knockdown during the fight yourself, you should have got some more benefit of the doubt for that as well. Not only did you do all of that, but on top of that, you was actually winning the exchange, perhaps, that they stopped it on. So I agree with that, man. It was an injustice. And he was landing the better shots. He goes on and says that if it was a push on the first knockdown, it wasn't a big blow or anything. The referee just stopped the fight and he didn't say anything. You can see it clearly. I'm the one who's hitting him. I agree. I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly, fight fans. This was a disgrace, dog. This was a disgrace. The lead up to this fight was a disgrace. Everything about this fight was a disgrace. What they did to Gary Antoine Russell was a disgrace. The actual fight itself was a disgrace. And even post-fight, the fight who the fighter is calling out and wanting to go fight was a disgrace. Everything about this trash was trash. And y'all wonder why I was stomping on this fight the way I was leading into this fight. Man, why you ain't talking about this fight? Screw this fight. This fight is what's wrong with boxing. It's the prime example. I can't believe PBC did this. And this fight played out the way it did. This hurt the sport of boxing from what we know it to be. Man, there's always been corruption in boxing. There's always been corruption. Sure, it has. It's been done in broad daylight now, though, fight fans. It's being done in broad daylight. That's the difference. And Tony Weeks should definitely be held accountable. Definitely should be held accountable. Salute to my homie Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more up in our house. I see you, champ. I see you, man. Salute to you, Bruce, and I hope you enjoyed the fight, man. Or should I say, I ain't gonna say enjoyed it, but I'm sure you got your feelings on this as well. Bruce says, yo, man, that fight already happened at D-Lo. That's how Puello got the Reggie belt. Yeah, he got the Reggie belt. And he got that's what I'm saying. Did he get upgraded or something to that effect right before the Rolly fight? Because he always had the Reggie belt. And then all of a sudden he had the super belt, huh? Get out of here, man. Get out of here, bro. Yeah, man. Jason says, yo, man, Barroso did get robbed. Big facts. Big facts. Damon Webster, Rolly clearly showing his judo skills with karate chops to the back of the head for a knockdown. I seen, bro. They say he did it. Didn't he clip him up early on in the fight too? He hit him with a Ryu sweep or something. You know what I'm saying? I think he hit him with like a Ryu sweep or something, bro. Like he clipped him up early on, and then the second time he hit him with a judo chop. Fuck, this dude think he Austin Powers. You know what I'm saying? Freaking Rolly Churio and shit, man. I mean, dog, I can't believe they did it. This was a disgrace. Everything about it. Bruce Gass says, yo, man, the WBA is clueless. Couldn't agree with you more, Bruce. Couldn't agree with you more. You know what I mean? All right, yeah, let us know, man. Let us know, D-Lo. He says, yo, man, he gonna post it and let us know what the WBA decided prior to Puello versus Akhmadov. They declared the bout to be for Josh Taylor's old belt. Puello never had a regular belt. No, he initially had the regular belt, bro. He initially had the regular belt. When he beat Akhmadov, that's what he beat him for. Oh, well, was it the Akhmadov fight or the fight prior to Akhmadov? But he had the Reggie belt. You know what I'm saying? And how they make it for the WBA Super, man, that shit came out of nowhere, bro. That shit came out of nowhere. Oh, he says there's no WBA regular holder after Tank. Tank had the regular belt, right? So Tank had the regular belt. Oh, so you saying that they consolidated the belts right after Tank? Is that what you're saying? I could have sworn that Puello had that Reggie belt, bro. I go back and watch. They're looking for that. I don't know when the Reggie belt disappeared. I got to go back and check exactly when that Reggie belt disappeared. But Tank had it. I do remember Tank having it, and he vacated it. Remember? And when he vacated it, that's when Puello had got it. And I don't know. I stopped following after that part, man. I don't know exactly how it went after that. You know what I'm saying? He said, yo, link. Okay, give me a second, D-Lo. I'll shoot you a link in a minute. You can come on up here and maybe straighten that up. Give me 1 second, bro. I got you. Damon says, yo, man, Rolly's calling out a fighter coming off of a loss instead of unifying with Mateus, Regis, and Taylor. And he calls for a clown show pay-per-view with Ryan and Tank. None are title holders. Man, this is where boxing is going, bro. And that's what makes this so disgusting, because you now calling out Ryan Garcia afterwards instead of any of them dudes that you sitting there talking about. This is a shame. Everything about this fight is a shame. So what we gonna say? Oh, Ryan and Rolly's winner is the new WBA super champion. How does that sound, fight fans? And then, you know, this is going to add fuel to the fire for this argument and current debate that's going on about belts don't matter. It's going to add to the conversation. There's now going to be more people that say, well, look at this. What I'm supposed to call Rolly Romero the freaking WBA super champion? We all supposed to call Rolly Romero the WBA super champion? Hell nah. At least by their definition of it, but we know he ain't no damn champion. So it's like, does all belts matter? Now we at that point. Now, this is what boxing has done to itself. This is what the questions you got to ask when you see these outfits moving the way they move. Does all belts matter? And it's a hard question to answer. You can't look around all of boxing and say that everybody with a belt should be exactly a champion. Because now we got political squeezes and we got all kind of maneuvers that can be pulled. It's like, damn. So what, we got to keep up for ourselves? We got to answer the question for ourselves, fight fans? That's the only way. If we don't do our own homework, well, no, I know that in his last fight, that guy fought this guy. Bro, and how many of us is really doing that shit? We got bills and shit. How many of us is really doing that for real? I mean, I'm doing it. I'm Mainman, Mademan. I'm sure a lot of other commentators are doing it, but the everyday fan ain't doing that shit. They just see a belt. And in today's boxing, man, they making this thing so funny where it's really, I will admit, man, it's really getting hard to keep sitting around and saying that these belts got the same significance. Not when these political games can be constantly pulled. I got to keep up for myself. It's the only way. I got to recognize who the real champs are. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way. According to Ryan Garcia, man, he says that I systematically broke him down. Bro, you ain't break down shit. You ain't break down nothing, bro. You systematically broke him down. Man, Tony Weeks systematically broke him down. You ain't break nothing down, bruh. I systematically broke him down. Man, get out of here, bruh. If you would have put Gary Antoine Russell in there with Barroso wouldn't have made it past round 3. You put Teo in there, he don't get past 3. You put Josh in there, he don't get past 3. But we put your ass up in there and you turned it into a shit show. Man, get out of here, bruh. Bruh, and keep in mind, Gary Antoine Russell destroys Rolly. He goes and says, yo, he was one of those dangerous fighters that you don't want to take a risk with. You just box and box. I with the winning fight, but my output wasn't high. You just box and box against a 40-year-old. But you was the same dude calling Devin Haney boring. Ain't you the same dude that's running around here talking about Devin Haney was so boring and everybody's so boring? You went in there and turned into a boring fighter. You see what I'm saying, youngin? You see what I'm saying, shouty? You young boys, man, y'all running your mouth. You turned into exactly what you supposedly despise. And who's going to want to pay pay-per-view to see you fight like that, Rolly? You supposed to be the clown show. You supposed to be the character, not going in there trying to box. You can't box. You know what I'm saying? You're a fighter. You and Booker T should have been working on that, brother. You can't box, not with your legs this wide. How are you boxing with your legs this wide? Backing in straight lines. Straight backwards, fight fans. Straight lines he was backing into. Brother, you got miles to go. But clearly you taking the fast track thanks to Mayweather Promotions or whomever is in your corner. You taking the fast track, bro. You taking the fast track, but you acting like, oh yeah, you call Devin Haney and Shakur. You call Devin Haney and Shakur boring. Oh, Shakur's so boring, and I would never fight Shakur, and he's so boring, brother. You just fought. I was barely hanging on during your fight, bro. Why do you think I didn't do no media reaction? I was tired as hell last night, y'all. I was like, man, I'm tired looking at this trash ass fight. This young was boring as hell, bro. You probably had one of the boringest fights this year. If it wasn't for Barroso making that push into action and actually making some action happen in that fight, bro, you was boring. You made Shakur look like Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? The way you ran in those first 4 or 5 rounds. You made Shakur look like Mike Tyson, champ. So, man, look, I don't ever want to hear the word boring coming out of Rolly's mouth because that was terrible. Oh, you did, and you ran from a 40-year-old, bruh. You ran from a 40-year-old. Bro, this is sad, man. I just hope that this fight didn't push a lot of fans out the sport, man. I hope this ain't make a lot of fans go, you know what, man? Turn on the KSI. What's his name? KSI fight. Turn on the KSI. I just hope a lot of fans didn't just walk away from the sport last night because this was terrible, man. This was terrible. So what he says about Ryan Garcia, he goes on and says, he's at 140 and I'm at 140. I have the belt and you got to come and get the belt. Bruh, man, neither one of y'all should supposed to have a belt. It's you walking around with a belt but can't beat nobody at the class. So y'all just gonna pass the belt back and forth amongst y'all still. You, Ryan, and Tank, because that's what Rolly talking about. And I'm sure Rolly heard that from somewhere. I'm sure Rolly heard this from the PBC suits. So what are they gonna do? A round robin with him, Tank, and Ryan Garcia all over again? To be honest with you, in a fight between Rolly and Ryan, I'd favor Ryan. I can't see Oscar De La Hoya not taking that opportunity, truth be told. I mean, they're going to look at this as an easy pick-off for Ryan. They're going to look at the numbers and say, well, this is going to make some sort of financial sense. I don't know if DAZN and Showtime still have the appetite to work with one another, but I mean, this ain't Tank. Tank is the actual spectacle. It's like neither one of y'all have been proven to be spectacles for real. Like Ryan's people showed up in the Tank fight. I will admit, they showed up. We've been questioning Ryan for a long time. Will his social media translate over to his fights? Well, they showed up. As for Rolly, bro, you ain't got nobody. Like, who are you, Rolly? You are the clown show. You act like you somebody following you. No, bruh. You trying to leech off of everybody's what you doing. You a leech. You are Rolly the leech. Oh, I'm gonna go leech off Tank's popularity. Now let me kind of get some from there. Let me go leak off of Ryan's popularity. Now I'm gonna get something from there. Well, where your people at, bruh? Everybody bringing their own people but Rolly. But he's the star, man. He's such a star. He's such a star, man. And everybody wants to be a star. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that something? So he goes on and says that the only fight that he care about is Ryan Garcia. Yeah, because you can't answer the question about nobody else. Anybody else, it's clear you lose to. Clear as day. Clear as day. And you lose by margins. You know what I'm saying? Fuck around and get stopped by everybody at 140. You know what I mean? He goes on and says he wants the winner to get Gervonta Davis. The sad thing about all of this, fight fans, is that I believe that PBC would do it. There was a once upon a time, if you'd have caught me a couple years ago, I'd have been like, nah, man, they ain't gonna do nothing like that. But now, nah, they probably would do this. I have no inkling that they would. They probably would do this. They keep that WBA going around the Rosie. Remember, before that was Barrios, right? Barrios had it. Then now they got it on Rolly. Then Tank had it. Now they got it on Rolly. So they're gonna just keep it in their own little crew. But Ryan would definitely beat Rolly. And Ryan would run around as a world champion. And Oscar would probably take that fight. He would look at that and say, well, you know what? I can get a belt on Ryan. He can beat Rolly. He can just outbox Rolly for 12 rounds. He ain't even got to sit there and commit with Rolly. Ryan is skilled enough where he has enough skills, I believe, to outbox Rolly Romero for 12 rounds. Touching and moving. But here's the deal, fight fans. I have zero appetite to see that fight. And make that crystal clear. I got zero appetite to want to see Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. Zero. Y'all may say, why rob Barroso, man? I mean, that doesn't make any sense because Barroso is 40 plus years old and he's not marketable. They can't do nothing with Barroso with their belt. All they're going to do with Barroso is feed him to who? Gary Antoine, maybe? That's what they would have probably done if Barroso would have won. But they can't market him. They can't make no money off him. They can't put him in no big name fights. Barroso is 40 plus years old. He looks 60. They can't do nothing with him. So they pulled a lot of political maneuvers. Hear me, fight fans. They didn't pull all of these political maneuvers to sit back and let Rolly lose. Think about that. And I want you to think about that when we move forward of speaking about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Think about that. You think that they pulled these political moves of having Rolly Romero being placed in a higher rankings, in a higher weight class, in fighting for a world title. You think they paid or did whatever they had to do to sit back and let Barroso win this fight fans? You know what, man? Killer music for a minute, bro. Killer music. Think about that for a minute. Use your brains for a second, fight fans. Do y'all really think that they would do all of that and let Barroso win this fight? Hell nah. Do y'all think that they was going to let Jackson Martinez ruin the Tank fight? Why do you think that Rolly beat Jackson Martinez? They was lining that Tank fight up since forever. They was lining it up. You think that they was going to let Jackson Martinez stop that? This is how the fight game works. They already have this thing already planned out of what they want to do and don't want to do, fight fans. They don't pull these maneuvers for nothing. These maneuvers cost a lot of money. They're not pulling these maneuvers to have Rolly lose. That's why Barroso got robbed. Because if Barroso was on his way to getting that win, fight fans, oh, hell nah. And it was probably hard for them to spin it on the judges' scorecards, even though we had 3 more rounds to go. But if Barroso was up at that point in the fight, it was no way. They wasn't going to take that risk. He gets 1 more round in the bank. All he got to do is survive. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Blackjack says money. You said it, bruh. Money. Money. Big facts. Cuzzo, what's up with you, fam? Bam. What up, Cuzzo? Hope you enjoyed your B-Day. Much love. I did, man. I really, really did. I had the time of my life, gutter. I had the time of my life, champ. I really, really did, man. And I'm gonna share it with everybody in a future live stream, man. Appreciate that love, champ. I really do, man. I really, really do. Yes, sir, man. Hey, Blackjack says, yo, man, I wouldn't pay a hamburger to watch Rolly versus Ryan. Big facts. It's disgraceful, man. It's disgraceful. They're betting on the casuals, those who don't do what we do or listen to the sport as much as we do, or follow the sport as much as we do. They just going to see Ryan and Rolly and a belt. They don't know who nothing. They just Ryan, Rolly, and the belt. That's all they gonna see. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Celestial says, yo, Ryan has more potential with the belt than Rolando. Ryan versus Rolando for the belt. But Ryan versus Adrian is interesting, and he can consider rematching Javante. Ryan would definitely benefit more. And you know what? That's a good point. Oh, but Adrian can't do it. Damn, Adrian I don't know how much of a bridge that he burnt with PBC. But you know what, though? Hey, you know what? That's a great comment, bro. I just thought about this. Now, Adrian kicking it with Don King, right? Now, Don King got perhaps even more sway with the WBA than PBC does. I know that might sound crazy to y'all, but for those who know, you know. Don King got perhaps more sway with the WBA than PBC does. Could Don King maneuver Adrian Bronner? Could Don King maneuver Adrian Bronner if Adrian is successful in his next fight? Could he maneuver him into a fight with Rolly Romero with the blessings of the WBA? That's a good point, bro. Ryan versus Adrian is interesting. That's true. That's interesting. But Adrian versus Rolly, to a certain degree, that'll be Adrian getting back to a title shot. And with his newfound promoter, that's possible. That's very possible. Good point, Celestial. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. The fact there is no super champ at the superweight in the WBA. You know what, man? We gotta get to the bottom of that, because I want to know I want to know I just want to know when did they give him. You know what? I won't stop the show right now to do that, and I'll leave it up to y'all, and I'll come back with that. But I didn't even know exactly when he got that WBA Superman, and if I need to know exactly when. I just know that shit came out of nowhere for me. You know what I'm saying? Came out of nowhere for me. Pudango says, "Yo, man, it was rumors of Ryan leaving Oscar. Yeah, Ryan though he just read up his contract to, what is it, 2024 or 2025? Remember a couple years ago he signed an extension." So right around the time of the Dunno fight, remember he was kicking and screaming, and he was crying about his money or whatever the case may be. And him and Oscar went behind the scenes and did a new deal. They restructured something new for him. So we'll see how long that lasts. You know, I know that was not too long ago. You know what I mean? Damon says, you can tell that Al is coming from the music business and not boxing. He is just too corrupt. It's a reason why he doesn't show his face. He ain't got no answer for this one. Nah, he ain't got no answer for this. He ain't got no answer for this Rolly Romero fight. The same way, fight fans, the same way that he does not have an answer for this. Correct me if I'm wrong. What is the answer for this? What is the answer for the political squeeze? Huh? What is the answer for this? This is more PBC crap, fight fans. The political squeeze that Keith Thurman came out talking about this week. Well, I put the political squeeze on him to try to get him into the ring in February. But, you know, he had the car accident, you know. Damn, Keith, you let it out the bag. Damn, fight fans. And just like I told y'all earlier, you got Spence Nation running around here trying to blame Bud. Oh, he's talking about Errol Spence comes out on his social media. I feel like I'm being played. Oh, he's definitely talking about Bud Crawford, everybody. Everyone knows it. If you think that he's talking about Bud Crawford, then you haven't been following this. You must be a Johnny come lately. You must be a Johnny come lately. Oh, yeah, I just heard about this about a year ago, so I'm just kind of picked it up from there. If that's you, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Or what Earl is doing, once again, as I told y'all at the top of the program, we're back to taking the L out of Lover again. We're back to see. This is why he tells his own crazy rabbit fans to go and watch X videos, because y'all ain't thinking straight. Okay, you're so hooked on the man, you're so into the man when he's not that into you. You're so into him that you won't even let him get his thoughts off properly. They're constantly putting words in his mouth. I just recently heard Shakur Stevenson coming out saying that problem was existing. Like, people are putting words in his mouth and making him look like a clout chaser when he's not talking about certain people and fighters. But yet people keep coming out and putting his name and attaching it to this fighter and that fighter when he's not talking about them. Do you not listen? You know, the thing is, once again, let's go to the top with this. If anyone's playing Errol Spence Jr., it's Premier Boxing Champions. Listen, man, Keith Thurman, when he was champion, he got the best of everything. The best of everything. He got unified with no problem. He got the best that the company had to offer. They threw him Sean and Danny easy work. While I got Errol Spence struggling to get a fight with Kell Brook. Struggling. They didn't line him up with Keith or anyone else. They tried to line him up with Kell, who put in medical extension after medical extension to stay away from Earl. It was tough for Earl to get that fight. While Keith is just doing anything that he wanted to do. Keith was the golden child. This is what y'all don't get. Errol Spence don't like Keith. Not only because of, Keith didn't fight him and such. Keith got the best of everything. He was the guy that kicked off Premier Boxing Champions on national television. They betted on Keith in the early days. And Keith got the best. He got every fight that he wanted. He got the Pacquiao fight. He got the layoff when he wanted to lay off. And most importantly, nobody, I repeat, nobody was putting pressure on Keith to take an Earl fight. No one. Keith was able to do what he wanted when he wanted. He was telling anybody, nope, I'm not fighting you. You told Terrence Crawford, no. I don't care what ESPN is talking about. No. 10 million. No. He told Earl, no. I ain't fighting you. I got a plan. You're going to be last. No, I'm not fighting you. He got and guess what? PBC didn't say anything to him. PBC didn't tell him what he had to do. I mean, Keith was able to sit off inactive how long as he wants, sit at home, long as he wanted. He can get injured and still keep belts. He did it all. And now when it's Earl's opportunity, oh, Earl, you better sit down and do as you told, or you're going to get thrown into a political squeeze. We all know that Keith Thurman wasn't up for no mandatory fight, fans. We all know that Errol Spence has a mandatory that's due since 2019. Now, don't we? We all know this. How did that WBC mandatory overtake what was going on with the IBF and the so-called consolidating of belts with the WBA? How did that happen, fight fans? And the WBC comes back around for a mandatory. How come when Keith was champion and Earl was coming through the ranks, they didn't make Earl Keith's mandatory? How come all of the maneuvers that we see the WBC do, like they did with Vasyl Lomachenko, right? Being a title holder in another sanctioning body to fight for a vacant title, the vacant WBC belt. That was always kind of taboo, right? They did it for Vasyl Lomachenko. They hooked him up. How come Earl couldn't get no hookups like that? How come? How come when it's Earl's time, instead of Earl doing what Earl wants to do and going to the biggest fight in boxing for the most treasure that boxing has to offer, given that he's taking his time and he want to get this right? Because just a week ago, I just did a video, fight fans, of Earl saying that me and Terrence Crawford are talking on the phone together. So here we go a week later. Now, all of a sudden, he's feeling played. Y'all think it's from Terrence Crawford when he just told you that they were talking on the phone together. He just told you this a week ago. But forget that. It's old news, because now something that we can pin on Crawford has came out. It sounds like he's talking against Crawford. So no. We're talking about this now. Forget about them being buddies. Forget about them respecting each other. We don't want to talk about that. That don't mean nothing. No, that just happened just a week ago. It was all good just a week ago, fight fans. Tell me I'm lying. I want somebody to say it. Mainman, you're lying. Mainman, you ain't putting this thing together. No. You're just making it up. Please, somebody tell me that. Because last time I checked, these boys was doing just fine. Talking about something, they were 99% there. They talking, they ordering their teams to do A, B, C, D, E. And then here we are now with Keith comes out with an interview, and then all of a sudden Earl says, I feel like I'm being played. But it's Terrence Crawford's fault. Was it Terrence Crawford's fault the reason that they kept Earl away from Keith Thurman all of them years, fight fans? Or was that Al Heyman and PBC? Because correct me if I'm wrong, the same dynamics that existed yesteryear with these boys under contract with PBC still currently exist today. They didn't keep, they kept Earl away from Keith, but they're not keeping Keith away from Earl. Tell me I'm lying. And y'all think he's talking about Bud. Y'all think he's talking about Bud Crawford, though. These two, they respect each other right now. As much as it drives the fan base crazy that these boys actually respect each other. No, Earl don't like Keith. Because Keith, you got everything, bruh, and you ain't give me no shot. And they protected your ass every step of the way. And they ain't giving me that same respect. And Earl may feel like he's a bigger star. He has the state. He has the momentum right now. He's the biggest star, but he's being forced to a fight through a political squeeze. They say, yo, it was Tom Brown that put that paperwork in at the WBA that made them okay. When I see Tom Brown, I see PBC. Why didn't Man Down Promotions put that in? Earl is his own boss, right? They say, yo, Mainman, Earl has his own boss. He got Man Down Promotions. If that is the case, then why didn't Man Down Promotions put in the petition? Why did Tom Brown do it? Y'all say it's Crawford's fault, though, right? He's talking about Terrence Crawford that's playing him. PBC has been playing him for years. They've been keeping him away from Keith. And if Keith would have never lost to Manny, where would we really be? Who'd really be getting treated like shit if Keith never lost to Manny? See, that's what y'all don't understand. This is the part that y'all don't get. This is why Earl don't let Keith in. It ain't personal. Oh, maybe it is to a certain degree. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it seems more like, nah, because you their golden child and you ain't getting this shit back. Why do you think when they try to force him into that fight, no belts on the line? Because you ain't getting this shit back. No belts. You beat me, you still ain't champ. So they still can't push you as the golden child. They still can't push you as the top fighter or the top welterweight with PBC. As bad as they want to do it. You got to ask yourself, is Keith more marketable than Earl? Earl got the state. Earl got the state. But it's something about Keith Thurman that they love, bro. And Keith is still here. And I really fully believe that Errol Spence Jr. Fought hard to keep this thing alive. Because his own side, his own people, they wasn't hearing him, man. They wasn't hearing him. How am I supposed to believe that Terrence Crawford was being taken serious? How am I supposed to believe that seeing everything I'm seeing now? I'm supposed to believe that Terrence Crawford, they were serious about or offering him a deal. Or did they do this to appease Earl and say, well, Earl, we tried. He didn't want to fight. Yeah, okay, great. No, we haven't offered no one else that kind of deal. Great. Granted, it's a 1-to-1. You know, we do 1-to-1 deals. It's made just for Crawford. I can't think of nobody else that we've offered that deal to, but we offered it to Crawford. Who cares? We offered them a deal. That's all that should matter. It doesn't matter if it's an unorthodox deal, if no other fighter in boxing ever took a deal like that. That stuff don't matter. We offered him a deal. Why didn't he take it? Why didn't he take the 35%? Funny, because I've yet to hear Errol Spence Jr. really. The only thing that I've ever heard Earl say in criticism of Crawford with the move that he pulled with the contract, the only thing I've ever heard Earl say was, well, I wish he would have kind of gave us a heads up about it. But I've also heard Earl post that, say things to the effect of, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And no, he's not ducking me. I've also heard Earl say that too. So which one is it? Crawford was clearly forced away from the table with an offer that he had to refuse. And keep in mind, fight fans, Crawford agreed. They didn't agree. This is Spence Nation's favorite talk. Well, he agreed. Yeah, he did agree. They didn't agree. They didn't give him what he asked for. The transparency, correct? He asked for transparency. He didn't get it. So they didn't agree. He agreed on his end. They just didn't agree on their end. And so he walked away and made a bag of money. Who can blame him for that? But most importantly, why did PBC offer such a crap deal like that? No one, you don't have no examples, fight fans, of nobody in PBC ever offering nothing like that. Give me an example. Don't worry, I'll wait. Give me a minute. I'll pause for that. I want to see if somebody gonna give me a name of somebody that took a deal that they offered Terrence Crawford. Who? Especially a fighter that comes from a world of the best guarantees at 147. Why would you even think in that realm? Because you wanted to fake like you was making an offer just so you can say, hey, Earl, we tried, man. Now come on over here and take this key fight. We paid a lot of money to make this shit happen. Come on over here and take this fight. Once again, going back to Rolly Romero, like we spoke about earlier, you think they paid all of that money for Rolly Romero to lose against Barroso? Do you think that they paid all of that money just to see Earl not fight Keith? Y'all think they did all of that for nothing? This shit ain't free. Who told y'all that this shit? Sanctioning rankings are not free, fight fans. Positions and fights being pushed in front, that stuff ain't free, fight fans. You think they did all that, and this is all Terrence Crawford, all because of Terrence Crawford? Nah, man. Nah, and Earl knows it. Earl knows it. They ain't gonna replace me with Keith as bad as they want to do it. How is it you forcing Keith on me? But they never forced Earl on Keith. Keith, even when Earl became champion, when Earl beat Kell Brook back in the day, and he got that IBF, Keith still had belts. They still didn't force it. What Keith do? I'm injured. So what Earl do? I'm injured. Well, y'all forcing me to Keith? I'm injured. Car accident. They played the same game, fight fans. They all played the same game. But I'm supposed to believe that premier boxing champions who didn't make a Crawford fight for Keith, they want to make a Crawford fight for Earl. They ran the same playbook. Look at the playbook that they ran with Keith, Danny, Sean, all in-house, everything in-house, Manny, right? Same thing with Errol Spence Jr., correct? Same. The only difference that Earl got Lil Mike. Earl got Mikey Garcia. That was the only difference. But the same playbook over again. But the major difference being, we're going to make sure that Keith is on your tail. And we're going to open doors for Keith to make that happen for him. You don't get them same doors. You don't get them same doors, Big Fish. You don't fight Terrence Crawford, you better be fighting Keith Thurman. And when you ask the question like this, though, like, how does Jerron Boots Ennis feel about hearing this statement? If I'm Jerron Boots Ennis and I just heard about a political squeeze being pulled on Earl, because Jerron thought that he was next. He thought that his IBF shot was coming. And to only know that he had a political maneuver pulled over him, how does Ennis feel about that? Well, Ennis ain't really PBC's fighter, right? So they can treat him any kind of way. But how does Jerron Ennis feel about a lost opportunity like that? And now he's sitting around here floating around in the wilderness, don't know when or where he's going to fight. All because some political move got made. What about Jerron Ennis? Who is he going to fight? Everybody else got fights. Stanionis got a fight. Remember, they had to give Stanionis the fight because Stanionis was pressing on him for his title shot. They had to pull some maneuver with that, and they had to get him Virgil Ortiz. They never entertained Virgil Ortiz for one single day in PBC. Now, all of a sudden, bring on Virgil Ortiz for Stanionis. They threw Stanionis a bone. All of this maneuvering for Keith. All of this for Keith. Keith comes back, and the whole division goes crazy. Y'all not seeing that? Keith come back and all of this. Oh, well, we got to make sure Earl doesn't fight this fight, or he doesn't fight that fight, or he doesn't fight this fight, because we got to make sure that he makes it to Keith. But it's Terrence Crawford's fault, the reason he's feeling played, fight fans. It's Terrence Crawford's fault. Yet PBC have not secured Errol Spence Jr.'s biggest fights to date in Keith Thurman and Terrence Crawford, but it's Crawford's fault. It's Bob Arum's fault. It's everyone's fault except PBC's. They have an agenda, fight fans. Simple. And it's hard to beat that agenda. If they have a certain agenda with the way they want things to play out, that's the way it's going. That's the fight that's going on. Clearly. Errol Spence Jr., to his credit, once again, he ain't just laying down taking it. He's trying to pull little maneuvers to try to prolong things and to get to what he really wants deep down inside. And he wants the Terrence Crawford fight, despite his fans telling him to walk away. How could y'all tell him to do that, champs? How can you call yourself a fan of Errol Spence and say walk away from this fight? How? After all that he's been through to get to this fight. After all that he's been through, waiting around, sitting around, clearly going through certain things behind the scenes with his own side, dealing with the Keith Thurman situation, dealing with the Booth situation. How can you ask Errol Spence to walk away from that when he stood so steadfast and strong this whole time through all of that? And you want him to walk away in the end for your selfish reasons. That don't make no sense. Crawford fans would never do that. This is the wishes of the fighter. This is what the fighter wants. And he fought his ass off his entire career to earn this leeway to do what he want to do. We're not talking about fighters that ain't do nothing. We're not talking about fighters who ain't put no work in. We're talking about perhaps the two best welterweights in the last 5 years. That both men are heavily decorated and they've beat the names along the way to get here. And y'all don't want them to have their moment because of your selfish impatience. Well, I just really believe, and this is Spence. Well, I really believe that Crawford is trying to get over on Spence and make him wait. And Crawford's the older fighter, lunchboxes. Crawford's the older fighter. Well, you know, it's because Earl's been out of the ring for over a year, man. We all know that's the reason why. It's because he's been out of the ring for over a year. Shit the, bruh. It's PBC that kept him out of the ring. Or should I say, I take that back. It's Earl that kept himself out of the ring for over a year. He had the car accident, and clearly by design. He chose. He could have fought in February. We in May. That fight could have came and went by now. Y'all ain't hip. Y'all not hip. That fight could have came and went by. We could have been talking about something else. Keith Thurman could have been out of the picture if they would have fought in February. Earl didn't want the fight, but y'all keep forcing him to it. And you call yourself a fan of Errol Spence Jr.? Miss me with it. You a fan of yourself. You only thinking about your own selfish reasons. You ain't got no love for Earl for real. None of y'all do. I want the fight now. Wow, for your clicks and your views and shit like that. Is that why? Let this man take his time. This is the biggest fight in boxing. And he's also fighting another fight that y'all not even giving him no credit for. Funny, I was very heavily pro Keith Thurman back in the day. I even debated some of the most avid Errol Spence Jr. fans as a Keith Thurman fan. And I remember clear like it was yesterday. Yeah, Keith got the best. That's why I felt so good to talk about Keith back then. Because I knew Keith was the man. I knew it. I knew Keith was the man. I knew how PBC felt about Keith. I knew Keith was putting the work in and he was getting the best of everything. And Earl was just second fiddle. He's always been that. And they even still treating him like that as the champion. So y'all keep on blaming Crawford. Y'all just keep right along on blaming Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee y'all, fight fans. I guarantee y'all. You keep on blaming Terrence Crawford, you're walking down the wrong street. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a salute to my homie D-Lo 44 Boxing in that super chat. Champ. Thank you, man, for your support as always, D-Lo, and always holding me down, man. They want Earl to walk away so they won't be wrong. Facts. Facts. And Earl, that's why I'm giving him, I got to give him credit where credit is due. He's standing right there. And he ain't making this easy for Premier Boxing Champions to take this away from him. And most importantly, he's not making it easy for Keith to take it away from him. Because even if Earl would have been forced to that fight, it would have still been the most ugliest, jankiest, ugliest looking fight in boxing. A title defense with no title. I mean, a title mandatory defense with no titles. So you 100% right, D-Lo. They wanted that man to walk away. They was hoping. Earl standing right there. And even said, mentioning things to the effect like he's willing to give a little. I'll bend, but I won't break. I'm willing. He ain't stupid, bro. He knows the offer that PBC made to Bud doesn't even sound right. He's probably never even heard of nothing like that even being offered throughout of his career. Like, what? Why would they even do that? Why they ain't just come correct? Why they ain't just give him what he normally do? Give him his guarantee and build from there. We could have had to fight by. That's all they had to do. Bud Crawford comes from the world of having a $3 million guarantee. PBC couldn't have at least done that and then work from there on up. Why insult the guy? You couldn't give him $3 million. Say, give him $3 million, give him the rest give him a smaller percentage on the pay-per-view back end, and let's see where we can find a sweet spot. But y'all wanted to play big and give him nothing. Y'all wanted to play big and give him nothing because y'all ain't really want to fight for real. Y'all wanted Keith. Come on, man. Salute to my homie D-Lo 404 Boxing once again, man. Holding down the homie, man. And much love to you, D-Lo. Much appreciated, man. This one is for my good buddy, the much respected Bruce Gas, for arguing tirelessly despite being wrong as teats on a bull. Y'all must be still going back and forth about that WBA situation on whether or not win the super championship. What's the final verdict? You know what I'm saying? Let me know what's the final verdict on that, D-Lo? Did y'all find out? I'm gonna drop a link for you in a second. I'm gonna drop a link for you in a second, bro. You can come on up here and let me know. Muhammad Hamatola says, yo, Spence cannot walk away from this fight or it will stain his legacy forever. If Spence really wants to fight, he should do what Ryan did. What I think he just needs to do is to continue the whole Premier Boxing Champions feat to the fire. And the way he's doing that is every little maneuver that they make, he counters it. Whether it's be, we're going to force this mandatory item in a car accident, or whether it's going to be this, or whether it's going to be that, he just keeps on countering it. He can't let them know that I'm, against it, or he can't speak bad. They'll shelf him. He'll run the risk of a lot of problems that way. So he just got to keep doing what he's doing in his own subtle ways of keeping this fight alive. That's what he got to do. See, Terrence Crawford can't do nothing about that. He's not a PBC employee, fight fans. There's nothing that he can do to force their hand. They want him. He don't want them. You know what I'm saying? He wants Earl, and that's it. He don't want PBC, but they want him. They cannot run the risk in that gamble of having Crawford take that fight, beat Earl, and have nothing to show for it. That's a major risk. They don't have that risk in a Keith Thurman fight. Telling y'all, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it, man. Real spill. Tyrese, what's up with you, champ? He said, yo, robbery of the decade for a Reggie belt. Barroso had a hard life a while ago. At a weigh-in, he found out rebels in Venezuela killed his wife. Oh, that's messed up. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, man. No, they just be doing anything in boxing nowadays, bro. Anything in boxing, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. You already, man. They doing anything in boxing. Flying around here. Yeah, very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. Hey, Larry Lopez says, yo, Spence stands firm with PBC like Tank and Wilder did. I don't know if he's as firm. Any fighter, to be honest with you, you're only gonna push him but so far. Now he's probably under contract, so he can't say but so much. But if you make the fighter unhappy, it's going to show. Remember when Tank was unhappy with Mayweather Promotions? It showed. He got upset with Floyd. It showed. Yeah, he couldn't go but so far to say, certain things, but It's going to be certain things that get let out. You just got to kind of decipher for yourself. When I listen to Errol Spence, once again, take the L out of lover. That got said around the same time when PBC was floating around all of these posters of Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. You start seeing these posters pop up online and all of these different stuff coming from PBC asking about Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman doing all of these interviews talking about Errol Spence. And then all of a sudden, here come Earl with the take the L out of lover. Which spills over. Then he come right back like, nah, I wasn't talking about, PVC, but he said it with a heavy grin on his face. Nah, I wasn't talking about PVC, and we still didn't get that Thurman fight. Now, I gotta admit though, I do wonder. Everybody got an expiration date, and I can't say that Errol Spence Jr. will stay there forever. Can't say that. Can't sit back and say that Errol Spence will feel this way forever about Keith Thurman. But I just know that, then again, I don't know, man. It's hard to really say. He might does. Dog, you got to understand, bro. They gave Keith everything. Everything, dog. He was the first man to get Pacquiao, not Earl. Earl had Texas. Keith was laid off for over a year. Earl had grew Texas and everything like that. And they gave Keith Manny Pacquiao, not Earl. When Manny left left Top Rank, they gave him to Keith. And Earl had to get the leftovers. He had to get the crumbs. Y'all not understand that. That was Earl's fight. And then Earl still was going to take that fight, right? He still was, oh man, I still want that fight. He was going to get the crumbs. They still treat Keith to a certain degree better than they treat Earl. So if you Earl and you feeling this way, perhaps deep down inside, how do you fight Keith? I'm gonna leave it right there, fight fans. Now, what I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna take a couple minutes. If anybody want to come on through, any of the fam want to come on through, speak on last night's fight, or anything that we talked about in today's show, feel free. I'm gonna leave a link right here in the chat. Feel free to click the link. If you fam and you fam, I'm going to click you on ASAP. You know what I'm saying? D-Lo, if you want to come on through, give some cool words. You know what I'm saying? There it is right there. It's right there in the chat. Y'all go ahead and click it, and I'm going to give a few minutes to see if anybody show up. And if not, we're going to go ahead and mosey on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I forgot my music was still on mute. So let me put a little bit of music back on here, man. But yeah, interesting situation, though, y'all. So for those of y'all out here, man, that's sitting here want to keep running around the mulberry bush and keep want to run around talking about some damn Errol Spence is being, feel like he's being played by Terrence Crawford. Y'all tripping. It is way too much evidence that PBC gave him the run around more than Terrence Crawford could ever give him the run around. All Terrence Crawford did was came in wanting fairness. That's why he sued his promoter to get away from him. He didn't do that for his health, fight fans. He didn't do that for his health. That could have went south for him. It could have went bad. He didn't do that for his health. He did that in pursuit of a fight. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how we rocking out, man. And we see my homie D-Lo just stepped on up in this jump. D-Lo, what's up with you?
What's good, man?
Ain't too much, man. Chilling, man. Hey, man. So did you get it? Did you get the info on this WBA thing, man?
Man, it's been out there. I can't stay on long. I got about to make a 2-hour ride to the country in a few minutes. But yeah, I got to pick my son up even with his mom for Mother's Day. But it's whole weekend.
Bruce is on too. Just give you a heads up. Bruce is on too.
I see Bruce over. I see Bruce done jumped in here. Ain't nobody finna debate you. Ain't nobody fixing to debate a man about a fact. You debate opinions.
No. The fact is, there is no WBA super lightweight title.
I said that already.
You stated that, but you said that Pulos was Alberto Pulo was awarded the regular title when he fought Akhmadov.
No, he was awarded the only title. There is no super, there is no regular. And I posted that in the chat where the WBA said going forward after Josh that basically there was not going to be any more distinction between that WBA title at 140. And this was before Puello versus Agmadal. So I mean, so there's nothing to debate. They made a decision before those guys ever fought that they were fighting for the only WBA title at 140.
And
okay, it's the only one now. But you watch how they'll award somebody a super title.
That ain't what we're talking about though. We talking about this particular situation. That was the only belt that was available. They said it was for Josh Taylor's vacant belt. So I mean, that was the end of the discussion. There's nothing to debate.
No. I understood it as being fought for the super title. It's because the WBA has two distinctions. They still have the regular title, and they still have the super. They say they're going to face out
in some divisions, like
in some divisions. That right there says it all. It's bullshit.
It is. And at 135, we know why they're not getting rid of that regular belt at 135. Everybody knows.
Yeah. I'm just saying that the fight last night between fucking Rolly and the old man, that was for the regular title. That was not for the super title. And and now he's the champion in recess, which is another bullshit title because he popped positive for PEDs. If he pops negative on his beat sample, they're going to give him the belt back. So does that mean they're going to be two champions at super lightweight?
That almost never happens.
How it looks like,
the B sample never comes back clean for the most part. So that almost never happens. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If that A sample came back dirty 9.9 times out of 10, that B sample won't come back dirty.
Yeah, Puello already pretty much admitted that he was taking the stuff. You know what I'm saying? He just he tried to have a valid excuse for why he was taking it, which could be true. But if you don't report what you're taking to the administrators, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, now a precedent was set where somebody got away with that. That was Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson was taking TRT, and after he basically after the fact provided evidence for why he was taking it. They let him retain, they let him keep his win over Amir Khan.
Well, look, according to the I'm on the WBA's website now. No, they made Puello the super champ. Oh, hold on. No. WBA world champion. So no, you're right. I take that back.
It was the only championship. Yeah. And if you read, they actually there's some fine print. If you look at the lineage where they talk about, and I don't forgot where I saw it now because I done dropped so many links because no matter what I posted, Bruce wasn't going to accept it. And no matter who.
Everything I see in Boxing 24 and Eastside Boxing, I don't believe that. I believe what the WBA is posting on their site. And from what I see, there has been no super champion since Josh Taylor was.
And what else did you see? There has been no regular champion.
He has not been elevated. Let me clear this up for the audience.
The last regular champion.
Hey, let me clear this up for the audience real quick, Dan, because this is something that I said earlier. So I wanted to be known. No, there was no WBA super championship that was given to in this fight. I figured Puello. I knew he was the regular champion, but I thought that they elevated him, or they were talking about elevating them if it would have been if it would have originally been Rolly and Puello. Yeah, and Puello. They were talking about if them two would have fought, then the winner of that fight would have been elevated to WBA Super.
But they changed the rules as they're going along. That's the problem with boxing today. And all it did was it magnified what happened last night. We're going to start looking into that now, looking into these paper titles, because we saw how corrupt the WBA, the fights are. I mean, this right here is just the tip of the iceberg. All these champs in recess, interim champs, WBA regular, it's such bullshit. And it really is a scar on our fucking game, man.
And you think it's going to get worse? You think it's going to get worse? I mean, listen to
I don't see how it can get any worse.
Rolly versus Ryan Garcia for the WBA championship. Ryan coming off of a loss. Rolly just lost a fight ago, and they both going to be fighting for a championship.
Rolly coming off 2 losses.
Oh, coming off, 2 losses.
Yeah, he lost last night too, far as I'm concerned.
Bro, what does this do? What does this do to the sport? What is it? How can we have any faith in the belts if this is what's going to be going on?
2 black eyes. Two black eyes happened last night for sure, man.
I mean, can we have any more faith in the belts, knowing that it's all political at this point? I mean, I want to, and I gotta say that I gotta follow it for myself. But listen, we got political maneuvers in that situation, political maneuvers being poured in Earl and Terrence, political maneuvers being poured in Laura and Danny Garcia. There's more political maneuvers going on. I mean, they're going on every time we turn around. So if Danny Garcia beats Errol Laura, can we say he's the middleweight champion?
Not in my book, but
Nope.
but officially,
huh?
Officially, he is. If we're gonna do what the WBA mandates, WBC mandates, then we have to honor their champions. We can't pick and choose, bro. I mean, if we're gonna ride them, then we have to abide by their rules and abide by their champions.
But how am I gonna call Danny Garcia a middleweight champion and he never fought at middleweight? Even this fight with Laura's at 155.
Well, bro, Michael Spinks never fought at heavyweight, but he beat Larry Holmes, and we called him the heavyweight champion.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. I guess you're right. I mean, but this is just, I can't. I mean, it's hard for me to say champion, bro, when I know Danny Garcia ain't fought Charlo, he ain't been through no Andrade, he ain't been through no nothing, no Triple G, no Canelo, nothing. He coming off fighting Jose Benavidez Jr. at 154, and you're gonna be considered a middleweight champion if you beat Laura.
You know, from a purist who watched Monzone and Marvin Hagler and all the great champions, this is what I'm giving right now, and there's nothing I can do about it. I watch it and I try to get enthused about it, but when shit like last night goes down, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to start talking about the WBA, and I'm going to start talking about the shady rankings, and all this stuff. It
has to be
Ryan fighting.
It has to be exposed.
It definitely has to be exposed, and this is a good time to do it because it's fresh on everybody's mind. That vision of Tony Weeks stopping that fight and then looking up like, what did I just do? Running out of that arena like a thief in the night. I mean, that reeks. I haven't seen anything. That was the worst stoppage I've seen since I saw Mike Weaver get stopped by Michael Dokes way back in 1980 with Joey Curtis. You remember that fight?
Oh my gosh! But this was worse than that, bro. This was worse
than
that. This guy was getting the best of the exchanges,
and he was ahead on the scorecards. And the fight was almost over. I mean, this just reeked. I think that whoever's pulling the puppet strings, they saw that that our boy Rolly wasn't going to win this fight on a decision. And they got the word to Tony Weeks it's time to do the job. And man, it was like the screw job in Montreal.
Well, you remember the Rolly Romero and Jackson Marinez fight. If you remember that a few fights ago. Y'all remember the same similar type play kind of played out in that fight. And so we got to just say, like, anybody that fight Rolly, should they be watching out? I mean, because clearly Rolly getting gift after gift after gift. I mean, does anybody that get in the ring with him, should they be concerned about maybe, you know what I'm saying, losing to Rolly Romero on some gift? I would. Every time. Anytime I would get in the ring, I'd be like, "Oh, nah, I ain't fighting this dude, bro. He come with too many bells and whistles, or the deck is already set." You know what I mean? And who does he beat at 140 outside of Ryan Garcia? Who else would he fight? Going back to Tank Davis? Is that what we going to do?
Rolly is definitely not is not on the same level as the fighters that you're mentioning. Rolly is a B-level fighter who somebody loves Rolly. I don't know who, man. I can't put my finger on who, but somebody loves Rolly, man.
Why? He's not the spectacle. He's not a talented, overly talented fighter. I get it. He talks a lot. I get it. He gives some funny interviews. But what is that to be doing all of this for? I mean, are they fattening them up to feeding them to someone, or is it just a money making scheme? They just see dollars.
I think the former makes a lot more sense to me.
The dollar signs.
They're setting them up for somebody else.
Do you see him beating anybody at 140, D-Lo?
I mean, not any of the top guys. I don't see anybody in the top. I mean, I know the guy he just fought last night was a top 5 contender for the WBA. I think he was actually number 1. But I mean, I don't feel like he won that fight. So I mean, there's no one that jumps out at me. I think I look at the guy that that fought for the IBF title but came up short. I don't see Rolly beating that guy. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. But he fought Matias and came up short. I don't see Rolly beating that guy. But at the same time, the way Rolly fights, if he comes out and swarms a guy and they don't protect themselves, he hit him behind the head, he could end the fight, because the way he beat Anthony Yidget, he just basically just roughed him up. Yidget had been out of the ring for a long time at a short count and went into the fight, wasn't really prepared for what Rolly brought. But I don't think Rolly's a top 10 at any weight class.
Messing around gonna be trying to get him and Devin Haney next. Devin Haney gonna probably be trying to hunt him down up at 140 if he get through Lomachenko. That's a real fight. I hate to say it, but that's a real fight.
The problem with that is this fight is going to take some of the shine off that, because that would be the appetizer. We'd be really, really cooking that fight this week. But right now, all the eyes and all the anger is on Rolly and on Tony Weeks. This is not going to end right away, and we can't neglect this fantastic fight that's coming up next Saturday night, man. This is the I got to take a Valium to calm down, man. This is an event.
A truly good fight, man. Real close. I think it's gonna be close. I favor Devin Haney in that fight, man. But man, I'm expecting for a high level of skills to be displayed, and from both fighters. You know what I'm saying? And whatever Vasyl Lomachenko got left in that tank, I'm expecting for both of these men to be at a high level. And these are the kind of fights that I'm really, really looking for. Undisputed on the line. Shakur Stevenson gonna be ringside. Man.
Madison Square Garden. Oh, baby.
God, man. This is what it's made of right here. And this fight this weekend is gonna be the one, man. I like Devin, but it's not gonna be easy. But I definitely like Devin going into this fight.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I think Rolly should be forced to have a rematch. You got this kind of controversy. They should force the rematch. And then if Puello is somehow vindicated of his adverse test, he should have to fight the winner of that rematch. I don't think, I don't want to see Puello and Rolly fighting next if they were to clear Puello. If he was to get clear from his, get whatever he needs for him, his doctor or whatever, about him and his wife trying to have a baby, all of that stuff, I still feel like you can't just, Barroso deserves an opportunity to get that run back. That's just making it right. But I just don't expect the WBA to do right, though.
WBA, they should trigger an investigation into this, man. I think
if you think that B sample, like Mainman said, if you think that's going to come back clean, then I got some oceanfront property in Louisiana.
I didn't say anything about the B sample. I feel
that's the only way Puello was going to get his title back. If the B sample comes back clean. I think the title right out of the
I was saying if he was to get an opportunity to fight for the title, if the WBA somehow signs off on his excuse he has about him and his wife trying to conceive.
D-Lo, what should happen is they should all be fighting each other. That's the way it should be. Every 3 months they should just clean out that division, and there should be one man standing. But this is not my boxing anymore. This is boxing in the 21st century, bro. And I'm just a boy.
Hey, I'm an 80s baby, and it ain't my boxing either.
No, this is bought and paid for boxing. That's what this is. It's bought and paid for. And that's what I say. When you look at Rolly's situation, look at all that they went through to get him this actual shot. Like I say, to pull out fighter from coming off of a loss, pulling them up to a higher weight class and giving them a title shot first fight, that got to take some serious resources. And in my opinion, they did not put all of them resources in motion to see Rolly lose, or they're going to get him to whatever the show that they're trying to get him to, they're going to get him there. And that's scary because that's not real boxing. That's made up outcomes. And even if you don't, win the fight, we're going to make sure that it's close enough that we can lean things in your face. Like it seems that way, something like that going on. And until they get him to the show that they want him at, they're going to make sure all of those doors open up. And maybe the show that they want him at is the Ryan Garcia show. I don't know. Maybe they look at the numbers that Tank and Ryan did and they want to try to get something close to that. And this is the closest that they think they can get to that. But it's bad for boxing. It's terrible for boxing. Terrible, man. And if boxing keep going down this road, bro, Did y'all see that KSI thing? You look what happened in that situation. That's where we gonna be at. He knocked the dude out with an elbow. Didn't he knock the dude out with an elbow or something like that? Knocked him out with an elbow. We gonna be right there. Referee turned blind and act like he ain't see. What was the difference with what happened in the KSI fight and what happened in Rolly Romero's fight? The ref clearly was blind and didn't see exactly the things that he needed to see. I feel bad for Tony Weeks, dog, and he's supposed to be going to the Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of Fame referee we talking about, Bruce. A Hall of Fame ref. I don't know, bro.
That was almost beyond belief the way that happened last night. There wasn't a solid punch thrown. I was watching it as it happened live, and somebody said, "Watch it in slow motion." There wasn't a punch landed. I said, "I don't need to watch it in slow motion. I watched this live, and even at full speed, you could see Tony Weeks. He wasn't on the job. He took the job. It was blatant. He bailed out of there like a thief in the night. Wouldn't answer any questions. It's going to be fun listening to the theories, the conspiracies, everything that's going on this week. The man on the grassy knoll. But I hope it doesn't take any of the shine away from Loma and Devin, because that's the fight that I'm really looking forward to. I want to do a lot of talking about that.
Yeah, man. I think that's going to be a great fight too, man. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Lomachenko. I think the physical, he's going to have a lot of physical things to overcome in that fight. He's going to have to get around that long jab. He's going to have to get inside of Devin Haney. He's going to have to keep constantly moving it because Devin is young, and Devin ain't going to gas out fast or gas out early. Devin has never had a stamina problem. Now he does got a power problem. Never had a stamina problem. Got a power problem, and we know power gives Lomachenko problems. You do got to wonder, does Lomachenko still got enough left in the tank to get under that jab, get in and out, change them angles, and put a high work rate on Devin Haney? And I think all of that is going to be key for him to having to win that fight. All of that. He's going to have it all working all at one time, you know what I mean, to make that fight happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And it's 37 years going to catch up with Lomachenko. He's got a lot of miles on that gas tank. And he's fighting a man who, another thing with Devin Haney is that making that 135 comfortably. That's going to be another issue. This is just so many variables in this fight. It's so close to a 50-50 fight. I listen to a lot of the OGs, and they're telling me that Devin is just this is his time, and Lomachenko had his time. But hey, let
me ask y'all this real quick though. Hey, do y'all think just curious? Y'all know Rolly Romero was a 10-1 favorite last night. I'm just saying, do y'all think that a lot of money would have been walked out the door if Rolly would have lost last night? That's all I'm saying. Think Vegas, you know how Vegas get down.
Well, how much money came in on the other guy? I don't think a lot came in on him, because when it does, the odds change. So
right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was a 10, but Rolly was the 10-1 favorite. Rolly was heavy in the negatives last night. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of money would have got lost though, either way it goes, if Rolly Romero would have lost that fight.
Yeah, that's anybody put any money on Barroso though. That's the thing. Yes, he got some people always bet on the long shots, but I don't think a lot of money came in on that guy, especially after the weigh-in. I just can't see it.
Yeah, that was bad. You see how he looked after that weigh-in? My man looked like he was 70 years old, bro. I was like, what the hell?
After the fight, he looked even older.
Oh my gosh, bro!
And if you look at the stoppage, his corner goes nuts as soon as Tony Weeks stops that fight. There's this big guy with a blue shirt on. I can't remember his name. He's his trainer, and he jumps on ringside. And he says, "What? And Barroso's just looking at him like, "What universe are we in? What did you see? What punch did I get hit with?" So it was just a shit show. That fight ended on a shit show, man.
What do y'all think about Rolly's style last night that he showed? The wide stance, trying to be a boxer, trying to move, the jab falling short. I mean, over and over again. He says he had to clean a decisive punching. I didn't see that. I thought Barroso still landed the best shot or the better shots. I mean, what did y'all think about his style? Do you think that his coach, what is his coach name? Bullet or something like that? You think they got a long ways to go? Because that ain't it, man.
Yeah, Rolly was doing a lot of bicycle riding, a lot of backpedaling last night. He was on he was in the reverse gear too much, and he was getting hit too. Every time he got down and went to an exchange, he'd get whacked with that big left hand from.
Yeah, he could be outboxed, bro.
Barroso.
Rolly doesn't have the footwork, and like I said, his balance is always off. That's a good puncher gonna put him down most of the time. That's why he ran into the shot with Tank, put down easy. You know what I mean? And even last night, the shot that Barroso landed, it was a thudding shot, but I didn't know if it was gonna be enough to really put him down. But it knocked him off balance, and his footwork, man, his footwork is terrible. And without that, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got no foundation, man. You ain't got nothing. You know.
That's what I was just about to say. That played a part in why he got dropped too. His foot placement is horrible.
Horrible, bro. You see how wide his legs be standing? I'm like, bro, how are you going to get out of the way of punches? Not to mention he back straight up in straight lines. I'm like, bro, who taught you the fundamentals, man? Y'all got a long ways to go. Nah, man, he got ways to go.
He's still learning the fundamentals, man. You know, he was late. He was late to the sport. You know what I'm saying? He's an overachiever just off of what he's already done. But at some point, you're going to hit your ceiling. I mean, I think he did the best I've ever seen Rolly box was against Tank. But in that, you got to look at that. I credit that to Tank just waiting. Tank wasn't actually boxing with Rolly as much as he was trying to set Rolly up. So he was just waiting on the opening. And then once he got an opening, we saw what happened.
And he came forward in that fight. He came forward as opposed to being on that back foot like he was last night. He must
but if Tank had hurt him in the second round, I think now we know he would have been backing up in that fight too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tell you one thing, on the back foot, man, he is. Oh my God, he's awful. No sense of range, nothing. I mean, awful. Jab had no snap in it, no nothing. Just he good when
Rolly is limited. Rolly's definitely limited. When he gets up there and fights the elite in that division, he's just going to be a final thought.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think Rolly's hit his ceiling already. I don't think he's going to get any better.
Okay, well, before I get ready to move on, man, let me ask y'all one thing, man, about what I was saying, what y'all hearing about this Spence and Crawford stuff. I mean, well, with Keith Thurman. With Keith Thurman coming out speaking about political squeezes and all of this stuff, man, what y'all thinking about that? Y'all think that now that, when Errol Spence comes out on his social media and he says, I feel like I'm being played, do you think he's speaking about Crawford or do you think he's speaking about Premier Boxing Champions? Just curious.
I don't know, bro. I really, I'm not paying much attention to that.
Yeah, I know that's not your thing.
I'm so sick of Bud and Errol. And of course, Keith Thurman is got to make a little relevancy for himself, and what better way than to jump on that train?
What do you think about?
I just want to see this fight. Did you hear that Saudi offered $30 million each for each of them for this fight?
I heard that. Yeah, that happened a while ago. Showtime blocked it. Showtime wasn't trying to give up control of that fight. When the Saudis get that fight, just like they talking about with the heavyweights, man, same thing. They're going to want total control. They're going to want to show it when they want to show it. They're going to want to pitch it to whatever networks that they're going to want to pitch it to. They basically paying for total control of that fight. And Showtime that doesn't fit well with what they like to do. And Showtime won't have no say-so there. So Espinosa came out talking about that a while back, and he just came out saying, "Oh, it's not good for the people here in America because they're going to show it in the afternoon and so on and so forth." As if we did. We don't care. Yeah, we'd watch that fight at any hour of the day. They just don't want to lose control. They don't want to lose control.
The best fights in my memory are Wide World of Sports, CBS Sports Spectacular, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, bro. You couldn't beat it. And you could still go out and have dinner with the old lady. You know what I'm saying, man?
Missed them days, man. I missed them. I actually wished when they put on some of these lower tier fights like what we had last night, those should come on early on in the day. It'll probably do much better for viewership. And it probably do much better. I mean, ain't nobody going to be sitting around too much late, on a Saturday night waiting on Rolly Romero. You know what I mean? So something early in the day, that would be cool.
Do that when it's not college football season.
Yeah.
They had 2 main events going head to head with each other at midnight. I mean, does that make sense for boxing, especially East Coast boxing?
Yeah, you got NBA, and not to mention what's going on with the YouTubers and all of that stuff. That was going on at the same time too.
Yeah. Somebody's mentioned to me, hey, how did Salt Pappy do? I said, who the fuck is Salt Pappy? Oh, he's a big YouTube fighter, undefeated. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's more important, than an actual title fight. Yeah. God damn, that's what it is, man.
Amen, man. Yeah. I'm gonna go eat, brother. God bless you, D-Lo Brown, my brother. Peace to you, man. No hard feelings at all, man.
Yeah, Yes, sir, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap it on up, fam. D-Lo, you want to get some last words? Thanks, Bruce, for coming on through, Bruce.
Yeah, you was asking what we thought about the Spence Crawford situation with what Spence posted.
Yeah.
I think when Spence talks about Crawford, he says stuff like that guy, that dude, stuff like that. Just like when he talks about Keith, he might not mention my name, but he'll say that guy, that clown, that fool, whatever. I
Right.
think I think in that post, if Spence wanted to talk about Crawford and he wanted to be known, he was talking about Crawford and what he would have said. I mean, if I had to guess, which I don't really like to speculate on what somebody else means, because they're adults and they have the capability to say what they're supposed to say what they want to say without people having to guess. But if I had to guess, I'll say that he was talking about somebody that he didn't want to mention by name, and I don't think Crawford would be that somebody, because we've seen him mention Crawford by name plenty of times when he's criticized him or disagreeing with him.
He gets real cryptic, it seems like to me, when he's talking about the other side, in my opinion. I mean, he can't be obvious. He can't, it gotta be cryptic. I mean, it's like I said before, when he said take the L out of Lover. That came right after around the time when Keith Thurman, they were waving that out there, this, that, and the third, and he came out with that, letting them know that, look, I ain't got no interest there. And so now here we go, all of a sudden, Keith Thurman come out with these magical interviews, and now all of a sudden Earl is out here saying, just a week ago, they was on the phone with each other, remember? Now all of a sudden Errol Spence talking about some, I feel like I'm being played. Yeah, just look back, look through the history.
Well, man, the other thing that happened before Spence said that take the L out of Lover, if you remember, the PBC had put out a poll on their website, on the YouTube page or something, asking about Thurman versus Spence, and that's what Spence replied.
Big facts. That's exactly what I remember that. And
he didn't call him out by name. He just said something that could be taken back or retracted or explained away if he got confronted about it.
Something he can, because he did. He got confronted over it, and I wasn't, but he didn't. He said it with a little grin on his face, and it's like I said, it's a sign. It's he leaving breadcrumbs to a certain degree, like trying to let the people know that, nah, man, this is where I'm at with it. And I kind of see them breadcrumbs now. I mean, even like I said earlier, you look at the whole WBC mandatory. Look how that was going down, bro. No belts, catch weights. You don't think that was Earl resisting? That's Earl resisting, champ. That's Earl saying, look, man, this is going to be
I came on here and said that when it happened. When they started saying it, I said, man, Errol's if he's being forced to fight Keith Thurman, the only thing he can do to kind of stick it to him is to say, okay, well, he ain't going to fight for my belts.
Exactly. And so that means to me is obvious. It should be to me. Hey, look, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's Premier Boxing Champions that kept Keith Thurman away from him when he wanted Keith. You can't blame Terrence Crawford for that. They kept him away from you then, and now they're forcing him on you now. You can't blame Terrence Crawford for any of that. That's all Premier Boxing Champions. And so that's just how I see it, man. The timing of it just explains so much of it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, man, I want to give a major shout out to my homie Boxing Logics United, my main man, Myron Magnus in the house. Peace and pugilism to the main man, says BLU. Peace and pugilism to you, my man. Salute to you, champ, man. You come on, join us on the panel, man, whenever you can, man. I miss wrapping it up with my main man, Myron, man. I hope all is well to you, sir. Much love to you, man, and thank you for your support, Myron. Thank you for your support. Now, with that being said, D-Lo, you got any final words, brother? I'm gonna get ready to shut it on down.
No, as usual, man. Good time chopping it up with you and Bruce Gas. You know what I'm saying? Boxing served us up a bad one last night, but the problem is that it happens so regularly that we start to kind of get desensitized to it. Like, oh, here we go again. Because it's one of those things that you almost expect it sometimes. Even if you think about man, like you used to do the betting shows pretty frequently, right?
Yeah.
But even with your betting shows, can you really just base your advice or your bets on who you think who you think is actually the better fighter? Don't you always have to consider the foolery?
Oh, like
a certain fighter, you like, well, I think this guy can go out and win a decision, but you see what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things you have to deal with in this sport that we love. But we don't love that part of it.
Just don't, yeah. You got to turn the blind eye to it to a certain degree, and you
Yeah,
can't let that turn you off from the entire sport. You got to look. You got to recognize the good in the sport just as much as you recognize the corruption and
right.
all that
Like,
crap. You know what I'm saying?
you think about any other sport. If you bet straight up on who you think gonna win. You don't think about, oh well, who do the suits want to win the fight? Who politically, who do they want to see win the fight?
Right.
You know, even when you think about Lomachenko and Haney, although I think that you know what I'm saying, there's a tough fight, and like I said, I used to have Haney winning the fight. I had it like 60-40 Haney. Now, as I've seen more things and dissected it more as we got closer, I feel like Lomachenko has the edge. I'll say 55-45. You know what I'm saying? But
Really?
age is a factor, wear and tear is a factor. But at the same time, Haney boiling himself down to 35 is a factor. But at the same time, you got to think about, who does boxing really want to win this fight? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all Lomachenko hasn't done. He's become undisputed. So it makes you think about that stuff if you were to go place a wager. So when I look at all that, I wouldn't bet on the fight for that reason, because I don't know that a guy could, you know, that Haney could go out, and I'm not saying that Haney can't win a just decision, but you just have to wonder about that, you know, in the back of your mind.
Especially
So,
when Haney talking about he on his last fight of his contract and all that.
right. And I
Saying this stuff.
think the Haney's wanted to get a new contract. I just think Top Rank ain't threw nothing out there. I think Top Rank is waiting to see what happens. If he can beat Loma.
I do too. I mean, they're gonna want to be in the Haney business.
Yeah, they want to be in the championship fights. Even if they pull some strings to make sure Haney don't get to keep all those belts, if he stays at 35.
I agree.
Because it's to everybody's advantage for the belts to be split up. You know, everybody in the sport. It's to their benefit if one person doesn't have all the belts in any division.
Right. I agree. But how you going to get a belt on Shakur? Like, if Haney wins, they're going to have to mess with Devin, at least for Shakur's purpose. I mean, that's the only way that Shakur going to get the belt or get a title shot if Haney stay at 35.
Right, and I think he's close with the WBC. Shakur is, so that could be the route, but it also could be if they call too many mandatories at the same time, they'll, you know, the belts will start getting fragmented. You got to think about Kambosos won the belts. Haney took him off of him, but then he had to fight an immediate rematch. So him fighting an immediate rematch, that took away the opportunity for a mandatory to get a shot.
Agreed.
So now we are with Loma. I don't know if Loma has any kind of mandatory status. I just know that was the fight Top Rank already had planned for the winner.
Yeah.
Because they wanted. Remember, Loma was the one that was supposed to be fighting Kambosos.
Right.
Yeah, I know you're trying to close the show out. You ask me something?
No. I was saying no. He's in position. Shakur is right there in position though of all of that. He should be next in line.
Yeah, and I like the kid. I like the kid. What's his name? Oh man, I just went blank. But he has to say William Zepeda. You know, okay. I think he's a good. You know, I know he turned down a Shakur fight too, but I think he's coming up that WBC rankings as well. I might have the wrong section about it, but he's getting close. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, there's a lot of good fights to be made in that division.
Well, I hope so. I mean, Pitbull ain't want no work. Pitbull got away from Shakur. He act like Shakur wasn't on this trail. Pitbull,
right? Sure did.
And Pitbull, right? Look, I'm looking at the rankings right here. At least in the WBA is concerned, Pitbull is right underneath Shakur Stevenson. Shakur 4 and Pitbull number 5. They could have made a run for it, and the winner would have been in the title position. But once again, that protection program is playing out, man. We know how they do when it comes to Shakur, bro. And I almost do wonder. I can't sit here and say 100 that I hear what the Haney saying now. And if they beat Lomachenko, they want Shakur and all that. I can't say that 100. I can't say that 100, man. I think they talking, but I can't say that they're going to jump in there with Shakur next. I hope so.
I think they're saying what they have to say. They say a lot of things when they got a fight coming up, man. A lot of fighters do that.
For the moment. Yeah, that should sound good for the moment, but then when the time comes, it's well, you know what? We forgot about this, or it's Bob, or it's that, or it's this. So we'll see, man. I just anytime when people say Shakur name, bro, nowadays, I gotta see it to believe it. You know what I mean? That's just how I am with it. Salute to Oscar Valdez and salute to Jamel Hearn, but I think Bob was on their ass about taking it, and they had to do that. We're gonna see if the other dudes across streets will jump in there with Shakur so easy. I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir.
All right,
Well,
bro. Well,
I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm gonna jump off. It's starting to rain hard anyway. You ain't gonna be able to hear me. So hey, I appreciate it, man. I catch you on the next one.
For sure. Hey, salute to the homie D-Lo 44 Boxing for coming on through, rocking out with me, man. And salute to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Man, the OG, the historian, for coming on through, rocking out with us tonight, fight fans. Man, I always appreciate when all of the fam come on through and chill out with the homie, man. I want to give another major shout out to my homie, Boxing Lodges United, holding us down, man, today. And I appreciate each and every last one of y'all in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Real spill. It's been a cool show today. I'm gonna grab a couple comments on the way out the door, fight fans, and see what y'all talking about. And then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it on up. And I'll see y'all on Thursday. You know what I'm saying? I got Omaha up in here, man. I ain't even know Omaha was up in this jump, man. What up, D-Ray? Salute to my homie D-Ray Promotions on deck, man. He say, turn up, Bruce. Oh, okay, that's what it is. That's when Bruce was dropping that real spill, huh, man? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to my homie D-Ray. Hey, D-Ray, I know when you heard that Keith Thurman phrase, political squeeze, bro, I know that sent you up a mountain. Like, they ain't want no smoke with Bud for real. They pulling political maneuvers. They got other things on their mind. They not thinking about no Bud Crawford fight. How can they be doing two things at once? How they spending their resources and putting this money in? And keep in mind, this had to take a concerted effort, fight fans. Concerted. I'm talking WBC, WBA, and IBF, along with PBC, had to all sit around some sort of table in a dark of night and come up with some sort of deal on how they was going to squeeze Keith Thurman in there. It took a concerted effort, fight fans. But I'm supposed to believe that their first priority was Terrence Crawford. Yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. Celestial Being says, yo, Broner versus Ryan. Adrian Broner. So for me, first, I got to get through Hutchinson. And then we're going to pursue the 140 world titles. And I want to become the undisputed champion at 140 pounds. Well, that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. I mean, like I said, I don't put nothing past Don King, bro, in his sway with the WBA. He might can get Adrian Brown into position to get next to this title shot. Maybe so. I wouldn't put that past it. And if Adrian Brown to get in there with any of these boys, Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, I favor anybody. I even favor Adrian Brown over Rolly Romero. I favor anybody over Rolly Romero. So, and look, if Adrian Brown can get next to that fight, I say go for it, bro. Full steam ahead. But you better beat this boy Hutchinson, man. We don't know this dude. Never heard of this dude. These type of dudes you got to get rid of, AB. And we know you got your criticisms and everyone's going to count you out. You need to prove people wrong in this fight and make a damn statement, bro. Prove it to Don. You know what I mean? Make a statement for Don. Don pulling out resources for you, bro. Make a statement for Don. You better make a statement against what's his name? Bill Marshall. What's his name? Bill Hutchinson. You know what I'm saying? Like you better make a statement against Bill Marshall, man. Real spill. So, man, yeah, with that being said, fam, bam, Silver Salamo, what up, man? Champion. But, man, come on through on the tail end, man. Come on through and go back on through, man. I hope you enjoy the show, Silver Salamo. I want to say salute to each and every one of y'all, man. Thank y'all for rocking out with me for another episode of We Talking Boxing Live, man. I'm going to try to be back on here no later than Thursday for the next show. I think we're going to be moving into the time frame now of Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko fight, fans. So there's going to be fight week for them. I'm sure that this is something that's going to set the sport on fire, as it should be. A real fight, something worth talking about, and not this crap show that we had last night, not this boxing corruption that we had last night, fight fans. An actual real fight that we're really, really looking forward to, man. Some of y'all going to have Vasyl Lomachenko. Some of y'all going to have Devin. You know, I don't have a horse in the race, fight fans, and I'm going to have full disclosure. I'm from the DMV. Better yet, no, let's go closer. I'm from Washington, D.C. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, I am a fan of the Russells. So, I don't have a dog in this race. But for me, I'm going to look at this totally unbiasedly. It feels kind of actually good to not have a dog in the race. I can just sit back, say what I see type shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we're going to approach this particular fight. So let's listen out for the press conferences. Let's listen out for the style breakdowns. Let's listen out for anything that shakes along the week when it comes to this fight, because the whole entire boxing world is going to be looking forward to Vasyl Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Much love to y'all, man. Y'all be good out there, man. Once again, man, thanks for rocking out with me, man. Until the next video, fight fans. Much love to each and every one of y'all, man. Peace out.